let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
It's not static, AM radio.
It's the Cool Ben Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromella intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. The cracker 6 o'clock, I'm logging with some sirloin bites.
How we doing? Good morning, everyone. The Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric in for Dustin Nielson, alongside Jay Milne and Zach to come behind the monitors this morning. Good morning to you and welcome. EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the iHeart TuneIn radio apps, and of course live on YouTube. Give us a sub, hit the like. We'll see what we can do today. A pretty good day yesterday, day one of the Dustin Nielson family vacation, to which we flirted, with 400 likes? We were just a hair away, I do believe, on the final tally.
We were close. We were a touch away, but now we've got our bearings straight. We know what we're here to do.
I think so.
And we're going to do it.
We're going to do it. We laid it down yesterday that one of these days, while Dusty's away, you'll either be back next Wednesday or somewhere around that time. But we're going to use a day. We're going to take a day. It might be today. It might be tomorrow. It might be Monday. It might be game one of the postseason for the Oilers. But we're really going to hit that like button. We're going to crush it. We're going to beat the hell of it. And we're going to rise to heights that we've never seen before on the Nielsen Show in terms of YouTube likes, just to prove to Dusty that we can do it while he's away. And I think it's a good communal exercise for the Nasties, for us, for everybody, just to prove. And I think Dusty, we made him cry already once on this show. A few tears would probably well up in those eyeballs again.
I think it would be a good look. Yeah, just, when the boss is away, it's good to know that the others can contribute and still keep the ship afloat, so to speak. So
he'll be so happy with all of us.
Yeah,
right?
I think Christmas gifts for all.
Exactly. A raise, maybe?
A raise? I mean, I don't know what you get paid. I get paid nothing.
Paid? Yeah. We are coming to you live this morning as well from the Popeyes studio, where you can go and get their delicious chicken, whether in a tender form, on the bone, off the bone, nuggets, wings, the whole bit, wraps, even the fish, the flounder, Jade, to which I've been singing the praises of that particular sandwich. Extremely delicious. So check out Popeyes today. Lots of locations around town, including one here just down the block on the west end. But it is always hot here in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. And we'll be taking your reaction from last night's game. Of course, a few other things yesterday as well going on. NBA play-ins wrapping up. Jays in the afternoon. And Oilers will play out the remainder of the regular season tonight down in Colorado against the Avs. Probably looking at a lineup with a few faces rested, maybe a few new ones from the farm coming up. as a few players were recalled yesterday for the Oilers. So we'll get discussing about that. We also have a Grand Prix to discuss this weekend, Chinese Grand Prix, and we'll have a guest on in the final hour to set us up for that. But just taking a look at the show, and if you want to chime in and get active and get interactive with us, any questions for our guests or anything else, please chime in on the Nasty Chat as well, or in the Paris Jewelers inbox. It's the bling box, it's the inbox, it's the Paris Jewelers inbox.
It's the ring box. It's the bling box. It's the Paris Jewelers inbox. And they got lots of fancy, shiny things. Look at this, look at that. Not just for the ladies. They got jewelry for men, too. The ring box, the bling box, the Paris Jewelers inbox.
Ooh la la. Ooh la la. And as it says here on the notes that Dustin Nielson provided for me, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. It's always just around the corner, really. Even on February 15th, right? You're always you should be planning ahead for these holidays because it saves you the time and the rush when it's February 13 and you're like, oh, what do I do, right?
You know what the veteran move is to celebrate, Valentine's Day throughout the year, really, because
You hit it there, Jay.
It is a little bit of a tricky time of the year, money wise. They do tend to take advantage of one's wallet.
Yeah,
maybe
I hear what you mean.
I mean,
yeah.
a dozen roses.
Well, that's what you do. Yeah, you kind of
Right? So why not just make it a monthly tradition, and you'll end up spending pretty much the same amount, but you'll look like much more of a hero to your partner, right? It just makes sense.
Very wise.
Well, I've been married for 16, going on 17
That's
years.
a successful. That's some
It's
time.
a good tenure.
That's almost like a Jeff Carter NHL career of 19 seasons. But
Rest in peace. Yeah, it's over. It's over.
if you want to chime in on Carter's career or Jay Milne's successful years of marriage as well, 780-218-9999 is the number. We'll talk about anything. You know how it is on the inbox, the ring box, the Paris Jewelers inbox. But any of your thoughts today, sports or otherwise, 780-218-9999 or in the Nasty Chat as well. But if you're in the Nasty Chat and you're spitting out some takes this morning, that doesn't qualify you for text of the day from A&W because you can only get that through the inbox. So get your texts in today, $20 on the line for A&W, and I know we're in a bit of a purgatory zone for A&W in terms of specials, but I do believe today, April 18th, so we have one more day for the value deals, the $2.79 buddies. Try them today. I might add a few onions, maybe a slice of cheese on there as well to dress them up, but you do your buddy however you want to do. But if you want that $20 to A&W, please text it, 780-218-9999. And we'll be picking a text of the day. Didn't have enough time yesterday. The show kind of got a little crunch in that third hour, so we didn't really publicly announce a text of the day winner. But I went back in the inbox and we deputized somebody from that.
It's not a bad problem to have.
It really isn't. We were so filled, but we did get the Vegas keyword out on time yesterday, and I was very proud of that. It was right on the. Do you have the sheet there? What's the?
I do.
Kind of curious. I'm always kind of curious to see the.
You can't show the camera.
Well, you take a look at that. I'll morning announcements for the Bear we'll have coming up here as well. We'll just go over the scores again from yesterday. Let's
under wraps.
Oh, I see.
Good one. I'll have to spell that one.
Well, hey, morning after show too. We'll wrap up the Yotes, the Coyotes, the Phoenix, Arizona, Tempe Coyotes, as they were, and everything else that happened down there last night. I mean, Fogel 20 goals, right? Put that in your pocket.
That's
Move on
the story.
Move on to Colorado. So we'll discuss that in the morning after show. Go through the motions there, brought to you by EMUtilityLocating.com. Luke Gazdic, best eyes in the biz and a great hockey analyst as well. He'll be by at around 7:05 for Pro-Am Sports, discussing last night's affair, setting up tonight's, which again, playing out the string of the regular season. Two big games tonight, though, in terms of who the Oilers will face in that opening round, as Vegas and the Kings will both be in action in their final games tonight. So we'll discuss that, maybe look at the Eastern picture as well with Luke. The Cool Bet hotline of the day, to which, Jay, you were I won't even say inches, I want to say centimeters away from cashing that puppy last night. I mean, you had the Nuge scoring. And
in the high slot.
The high slot, and I said what time and everything, and we kept going down to the specifics, but I'll give you the high slot, I'll give you Nuge scoring, but man, oh man, hell of a shot.
He didn't score.
He didn't score, just off that post, and
what can I say?
I thought it was the middle bar inside. I mean, I think most of us did until we...
Well, don't leave me. Don't leave now. I've got another one lined up. I got another one dialed up for today.
He's going to hit it today.
And today we're going to hit.
You can't get that close.
And
you called the position for crying out loud.
I was in the kitchen just wrapping up the dishes, and I heard our dear Jack
Yep.
call it nudes, and I ran in and I'm like, oh my gosh, did he score from the high slot? And my daughters were looking at me like, what are you talking about, Dad? I'm like, there's a bet on it. People are depending on me.
Running in the living room, towel in hand, dish in the other. High slot.
And then I saw the replay, and alas, a gasp.
This close. He's going to get you there today. Follow Jay to the bank. You'll have your Cool Bet Canada hotline of the day. I got beef. That's coming up around 7:30. I know. I do believe Zach Team has got a beef. You do?
I
Don't
do.
you?
I got one. I got one.
But-
I'm holding it.
Hold it.
Yeah.
Sit on that for fire you up, hey? And this is from last night, too. This is a pretty current beef with you. Brought to you by Corey the Butcher and Acme Meat Market. Check them out today. Great shop down there in the Ritchie Block. And the best part about Corey's shop is that he's got those pepperoni sticks in that candy jar sitting right on the counter. You can't resist. You go there, you buy some supper for the week or whatever it is, but you go home with a few pepperoni sticks. It's a beautiful thing. I says pardon to wrap up hour 2, brought to you, of course, by lawyer-central.com/pardons. So we'll go there in terms of what we thought we saw yesterday that made us say, I says pardon. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's. $25 online to Mr. Mike's for kind of easy trivia. We'll have that kicking off the third hour. Follow that up with 3 questions too many, brought to you by Park Mazda. The Vegas keyword again this morning at 8:20. So be by your phones for that one. We'll be giving out a word. You text in the word, and Zach will put it all through the randomizer and give one lucky person a call, and we'll qualify them on the air today. So be by your phone, 8:20. Don't want to miss it. The Vegas keyword for fly, YEG. Tim Hauraney, friend of the show, racing analyst, Formula One, Indy, and other. He'll be by for Claiborne Services around 8:30. No scalding hot takes today. I mean, look, I'm the mitt holder. Zacticum's not really in the circuit as of yet. I don't think you've never done a hot take segment, have you?
No, I've never had.
And I'd love to have you to do one.
And we're going to
One
keep it
day.
that way.
That's here. Take
Ooh, that's a hot take
That's
right
a hot
there.
take.
Yeah.
But have you? Yeah, and I mean, if today
I
for
don't
the-
deserve to be a part of that.
Well, for the purpose of that, I think if I was holding the pot holder today, like the intercontinental belt, is that kind of what we're calling it around here? I'd put it on the line. But to put a mitt on line, I don't know when we'd see you again if you'd win. I know, kind of then the championship belt goes away and you'd.
Listen, it's a sacred mitt. We all know that. I don't even want to touch it.
Well, that's-
to be honest.
I just wanted to make sure
we
that you
talked
guys
about.
weren't.
Remember my playoff traditions yesterday and touching the cup, touching the trophy. I'm just happy to look at it from across the table.
Study it.
I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
Because that's a sacred place to be, and I'm not there. That belongs to 3 people, 2 of which are not here right now. So.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, and I'm sure all the nasty members are just fine with that because it's in a religious area that.
Look, you're getting a sense of it. You get the presence of it, and Zacticum as well. He's in the room with it, so maybe someday, somehow, this summer, one of the 2 of you, or maybe both of you, will be holding the mitt. Who knows? Dare to dream. That's all I'm saying. Set your sights. It's the dawning of a new day, and I think everybody in this building. You're an employee now. I think everybody should have a crack at the mitt. Just not today.
Well,
Just not today.
It's a coveted kind of. It's not sort of a trophy, but it is what you need. It's like getting that belt.
It's a
you
belt.
See
It's an accessory. You
You're in
can't
the
wear the
same
cup.
room.
You can't, but you can wear this.
I'm over here. I don't want to get my greasy mitts on it. One day though.
Oh,
hey,
coming in hot.
one day. I appreciate it. I look forward to taking off with the 2 of you one of these days. Orange and Blue Breakfast as well for Mobile One to kind of wrap up the third hour and the show ahead of the wrap for William Huff. But we'll kind of dive in and take a look at the game tonight, Oilers and Avalanche, to play out the string. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. Tommy Rubella's got a beef here. We'll save that for the I Got Beef. Jen wants some more A&W, I think. Everybody wants to talk Champions League. I don't think so. Soccer.
Not fooling him this morning.
Wimp sport, you know what I mean? So we won't be going there at all. But what did you make? Let's just get into the morning after show right now for EMUtilityLocating.com because I think being the final night and the final game down in Arizona way requires a little more time to discuss. So, I mean, the pregame pageantry, they have the season ticket holders down there, the puck drop.
I think the broadcast did a great job. At least the television broadcast did a great job of encapsulating just what it was, because you can forget that this is a real hockey team. There are real fans there, even though it's a 5,000 seat arena that it's turned into a debacle. That's not the fans' fault. There still are diehard fans there that you could clearly see were heartbroken by the fact that they're going to be losing their team, and this is the last time they'll get to watch them play, at least for the foreseen future, in Phoenix. So I thought the broadcast did a good job of highlighting that, because up until now the story has been the deadbeat owner and how he's ransacked the league and ransacked that city. But you forget that there's people behind and filling those seats and paying good money to fill those seats. So I was happy to see that. As far as the Oilers play went, quite lackluster. I guess you'd have a hard time saying it wasn't. I thought Pickard, for the most part, looked good. He was hung out to dry.
Yeah.
And obviously that first goal went off the. What was the reverse angle of that goal where that puck went directly off the referee's foot?
The refs were in the way for a few things last night.
He was standing where the puck was going. He didn't even try to lift his foot. You've seen referees do it all the time where the puck's come around the board. They'll just lift their foot casually. Nope. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know. You don't see that very often.
No, but
So, the one goal, and then that led to the next goal was a breakaway, and then the other one might as well have been a breakaway. It's a great backhand in close. But I thought Pickard, was hung out to dry a bit. But I guess the overall theme
it was their night.
was
always kind of going to be their night, and I think you kind of. And I told you off the air, I kind of forgot. I mean, we all knew it was their final game, but then you sit down, and you're like, oh, geez, they're going to be pumped up to play this one because they're not going to the postseason, and they're not a bad team overall. I think Salt Lake will be getting a pretty good relocator here in the Arizona Phoenix Tempe Coyotes in terms of the roster. But they were fired up last night, and fairly so. They wanted to go out and prove a point to their fans, and they did just that. It is your EM Utility Locating morning after show. And I just want to make sure, where is it here? Yes, the EM Utility Locating morning after show. You can call 780-222-9497. GPR and concrete scanning, damage prevention, planning, design, education, and training, all of that at EM Utility Locating. Once again, emutilitylocating.com. You can check them out online or give them a call, 780-222-9497. And I guess, what's your big moment that happened or what you would take away from last night's game? I just have the whole theme of it and the theme of the night.
Yeah.
The good thing is, I mean, nothing on the line for the Oilers, really. And you want to see them picking up play and going into the postseason on a high. And even going into tonight with Colorado, I think a few players will be rested and such. But looking at the line, time on ice, no injury. That's you want to keep it just safe.
Well,
keep it safe.
and
let the Coyotes have their thing. Eh?
And maybe that's the underlying story here is that nothing really to talk about.
Low event,
which is good news. No news is good news right now as the Oilers are heading into the playoff run, hopefully. But yeah, we'd be remiss if we didn't at least hand this to the Coyotes for that night. Is somebody said here, not Alec Baldwin chimed in on the Nasty Chat, and this is a great point that this is another thing that you fail to remember. And actually, Jack Michaels and Louis DeBrusque did bring it up on the broadcast last night, but there's a lot of jobs lost here. There's a lot of, in-house jobs, in-arena jobs. Who's going to be in the new broadcast crew depending on new ownership in Utah? I mean, there's so many questions surrounding this that there's so many uncertainties. So it's a sad night. It's a sad thing to see any. It's a sad night for the NHL, and I think the NHL is quite partly to blame here on this. Like they have their hand in this.
I feel the fans and all that too. And if this was in where they started, downtown Phoenix, sharing the arena with was it American West with the Suns and all that. I mean, that's your big time, and now you're playing out of a college rink. So it's kind of like if you at least had that one night only, in a big arena, people would come. It's a one-off thing, even if casual fans, sports fans there in the area would be like, oh, this hockey team I've never paid attention to is leaving. Might as well come out for one night. I think you could probably do something there. But as was the case, Oilers in town, lots of blue and orange dotting the white in that 5,000-seater. So, yeah, they're gone, and it's about time, and I think it's good for everybody. But a weird feeling last night. My big moment, yes, the game, the season ticket holders dropping the puck, all that good stuff. But the Gunther goal when it comes to the game, and I know people in the Nasty Chat are a little fired up, and this goes back to the loss against the Coyotes last week as well. And, how much do you want to put into it? I like to think that there is a bit of a switch, and this team will kind of, it's playoffs. We're all waiting for the playoffs to begin, and that's what's really terrible right now. It's purgatory time, and I feel like they've been in this for, a good part of a week now, not just the last night.
Well, and that's where a game like tonight, you might want to see that switch flipped, right? This is a potential playoff matchup down the road.
Yep.
So you're going to want to see a little bit more fight out of the Edmonton Oilers than you saw last night for sure. But yeah, I mean, what can you say last night? I mean, I'd rather talk about how I used EM utility locators at my house.
Please.
Than that.
And in the NBA, they've got their play-ins going on. I mean, that's fascinating in its own, and the Nasty Chat's lit up about that. Loomis chiming in here. It's not about the result as much as it was the process. They look like garbage. They also had a bit of pride to play for because they dropped that game recently. Loomis said, sure, no one got hurt. That's cool. That's about the only positive that can be taken from this. Quite right. And tonight will be worse. Northside Sandwich chimes in. Tonight's game is going to have preseason vibes for sure. But
well, you'd imagine that, if that's the way it's going, then, there's going to be no Makar. Who else would be sitting out? It'd be interesting to see what the lineups are for that. I mean, we'll get into it as the show progresses, I'm sure, as maybe they're not released at this point. But
it'll be fascinating to see what gear both of these teams are in tonight. But again, it's not sexy and it's not fun, but you just want to kind of don't rock anything until you get to the dance here. That's, about a week and change or a little under a week away. But
it might be fair to say that Oilers fans will be scoreboard watching tonight more than they are actually watching the game, which, by the way, the game will be on, and the scoreboards and all the other games will also be on. You know where? You know where tonight, Lieutenant Eric?
Can I take one guess?
Take one guess.
Hudson's.
Hudson's on White Ave.
Hudson's on White Ave.
Boom. Be there or be square.
Tommy Gazzola.
Tommy Gazzola. Zacticum's going to be there. If you want to come by Zacticum a beer for, in celebratory libation,
yep.
This is your chance. I'll be there myself. Zacticum's there. I'll buy you a beer. I'll go get a gift certificate from Tommy and buy you a beer.
How generous of you.
Most of the crew is going to be there, obviously. Dusty and Eric's got to work really early. So, Eric, you know what? Is sitting in the boss chair.
Have 3 for me.
I will. I'm going to say you take the night off.
Look, if this was the mall, I'd be tap dancing all over those tiles. But, a little...
It's a long track.
A bridge too far for me. But you boys have fun tonight. And we will be having Game 1 as well, right? We'll be all out.
Game 1 is going to be a fun one. It's going to be at Hudson's West Edmonton Mall. That is, everybody's going to be there. That is going to be a raucous night. Can't wait. Just depends, I just want to know who the Oilers are going to play.
And that all comes down to, so if LA wins tonight and
break it down,
Vegas loses, that's the only way that the Oilers will play LA. Any other fashion of finish, it'll be Vegas.
So it's looking like Vegas.
So, yeah, the odds are looking like Vegas.
Kings have to win.
Kings have to win, and Vegas has to lose for the Kings to be the Oilers' first-round matchup. Yep. So, I got my eyes on Vegas. I want Vegas to be the first-round matchup for the Oilers. So, we'll see what happens, though.
Classic text flying in as well. Pat in the county. Honestly, don't care, boys. So, we always appreciate those texts with regards to I don't know what, but we're talking Oilers, we're talking hockey, and the playoffs are on the corner. You're saying you don't care?
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. That's a leader in the clubhouse for text of the day right now.
Pat in the county, ding, you're coming hard after that $20
ding, ding,
DNW.
ding, ding.
I love it. 780-218-9999. Just getting back to last night and going over the EM Utility Locating morning after show. Super stat, I'm going contract Fogle, 20 goals. He hits the 20. I mean, again, we can talk about no injuries. We can talk about rolling lines. We can talk about, keeping things above water. But contract Fogle, 20 goals, 21 assists as well, both career highs, which means it's a career high in points for Fogle as well this season, 41. So my super stat is Warren Fogel's 20th of the campaign last night. And nice to see Carrick as well get into the double digits with 10.
Well, you know what?
Two tough guys getting on the scoreboard last night.
Why don't we fire off a celebratory conch for the Arizona Phoenix Coyotes right now?
Love it. I'll see that conch, and I'll raise you a didgeridoo for the old desert dogs. Why not?
Beautiful.
Sail on.
Sail on.
You crazy diamonds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Fogel's my super stat. My 4th star as well, Fogle. I do believe it was a Coyotes clean sweep in the 3-star department. O'Brien, Gunther, and Krause. So I'll give it to Fogle as well. That O'Brien, yeah, that's a scary fellow skating around the ice and potting goals and throwing hits. 38th star, do you got anybody you want to kind of, can we all give him all the 38th star last night type of thing? Or?
You know what? Pickard.
Okay.
Like I said, he did get hung out to dry a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was not and there's no way that game was going to go anyway, but the way it did. I mean, that's the last game there. We all know the fix was in. No, just kidding. But I thought Pickard did okay. Like he was in some pretty tricky situations. Is that not the sense you get, Lieutenant Eric, that if Pickard was to have to come in relief during the playoffs, it's not a throw your hands in the air and say, "Oh no!" You still have a fighter's chance, right?
Still a fighter's chance. It's. I think everybody. He's a vet. He's good in the room. I think the guy's radiate to him type of thing. I think the only thing is, it's that I don't know, the Aiden Hill element of surprise, right? I mean, guys know Pickard. Guys, I think know around the league, kind of probably feel out his tendencies, but yeah, he'll be fine. I think it's not. I mean, again, starting the year, Skinner, Campbell, and you're looking at maybe a bit of a tandem or a 1A, 1B or sharing minutes, and Skinner's taken this horse and he's ridden it, but I don't think you have any real concern depending on if it has to be for a period or a game here or there. Is he leading you to the cup? We'll dive into that question.
Skinner it is.
We'll dive into that question if it ever raises its head, but yeah, I think you got to be kind of confident with the goaltending right now, heading into the postseason for the Oilers. 780-218-9999. Text in. So you're giving Pickard the 3. Okay, yeah. Do you have a steady Eddie from last night as well? Anybody keeping it? Stetcher had zeros across the board, 16 minutes.
I thought, and this is just me, but knowing that the playoffs are right around the corner, it's nice to see a guy like Warren Fogle that's been turning it up a bit.
Sure.
I thought McLeod looked like he had a little bit of pep in his step last night.
Okay.
And those are 100% necessary keys to the Oilers making a push throughout the playoffs, correct?
Burglar as well, chiming in. Broberg looked confident to me, which is great. And him, obviously, his stint down in Baco, much like Holloway's was, fairly successful. Now you're bringing him up at a great time of the year, and that confidence grows. So, yeah, I mean, these are the things you're picking. It's not sexy right now, but this is the gardening you do with 2 games left before the playoffs, knowing where you're going to be. It's just depending on the opponent, which we'll figure out a little later tonight. The Arizona ownership, 38th star, probably promised the season ticket owners previously. A few people in the nasty chat in via the text line shouting that one. So maybe, yeah, a 38th star for Arizona ownership. Whomever the owners were, and wherever you're watching from, all 9 of you, right, or 8 or 9 or 10 of you, however many you were in the history of the franchise. Tonight's game is going to be a nothing burger, nothing to play for, just stay healthy. I agree. That text unsigned. Put a name on your text. Be somebody this morning, 780-218-9999. Yeah.
Patting the county back in. He wants to
clarify
get back on top and reclaim first place for text of the day. He said, "Yes, love you guys. Would never say that about the EST." And he said his next text was, "It's like the last day of work before holidays. Just coast and don't get injured."
I don't know about you, but before going on a trip, I'm always scared I'm going to get food poisoning.
Oh, yeah?
Like it's a bad confession because I've had it. I don't know. I've had it like 5 times in my life.
Really?
Which at the age of like 38 is not a good, like, right? Some people have never had it. Some people had it maybe once or twice. I had 5. And it's not like it's my system or anything, but you know, you had it?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So you're down for the count, right? It's your gut. It affects your mind. You're like, I'm done.
Usually for me, it's a quick thing. Like, I know it's there. I know there's something in my stomach that needs to get the you-know-what out. So it usually happens. I try to force its way out.
But the pre-trip anxiety of whatever it is, not getting hurt, not losing your phone or your what.
My thing is packing drunk.
Okay.
Do you ever get packing drunk?
Packing, like
You're packing for your trip that it's going to happen the next day, or maybe it's a boys' weekend getaway, or maybe you and the family are going up to the mountains for some skiing, and you're packing. You're feeling good because you don't have to go to work tomorrow. So maybe you crack open a few more lagers or a few more 6 o'clocker lagers than you normally would, and you get a little packing buzz. You've never been there? You should try it.
I've done the shower beers. I've done the bath beers. I think I've drank the beer in every form of position, yoga-wise, too. But the packing one, I like that.
It's a great way to start your trip.
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, it just ties right in here brilliantly. But the 6 o'clocker lager, Jay, and Zacticum, if you didn't know, this puppy's going on special. $12.99 per 4-pack. That's $1 off playoff promotion at all Sobeys Liquor and Safeway Liquor locations. That begins today. It ends June 30th. So this is nice. The weather, I know, is a little snow yesterday. Things, I think, will be warming up closer to the weekend. But we've talked about this beer and the success it's had during non-traditional beer drinking time on the calendar. But now, starting today, $12.99, 4-pack of 6 o'clocker lager. You can pick them up. Sobeys and Safeway Liquor locations. Begins today, ends June 30th. A great thing to have if you're, planning to pack to head down to an Oilers playoff game or somewhere else in the spring and early summer. Maybe you use this 4-pack promotion, $12.99, to get a little, what did you say, a packing buzz? Packing
drunk.
Packing drunk, sure. Packing
Give
wasted.
it a try.
Yeah.
Change your life.
Yeah, maybe get 2 of those 4-packs. But $12.99 per 4-pack, Alley Cat 6 o'clocker lager. The number 1 selling Alberta craft beer at Sobeys and Safeway Liquor for the last 4 months. So keep that train rolling.
You can't deny that. That is an outstanding fact. That's amazing.
Sobeys and Safeway Liquor have a lot of shops and they carry a lot of drink.
I shop at them.
I mean, we all know this,
I
right?
see all the selection
So
they
it's-
have.
yeah.
So to say that it's the number 1 craft seller, I mean, you're going up against some massive hitters. So good job. Good job to all the Nasty Clubs members.
Good job on everybody buying. I know you're thirsty and continue that thirst, but thank you as well to Alley Cat Brewing for graciously brewing this beer and inviting us into their brewery and everything going along with that. And Sobeys and Safeway Liquor, of course. We'll have another Sobeys Liquor Beer of the Week tomorrow. Garrett Gallipo will be joining myself, and Joaquin Gage, who will be in for Dustin Nielsen. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. Get in on the nasty chat. It's edmontonsportstalk.com. It's the Nielsen Show, iHeart and TuneIn radio apps. And on YouTube, it is 6:35, time for a sports update. We'll go to Jay Milne. He'll have everything that went on last night in the world of sports for Green Plan. And we'll be back for the remainder of the opening hour. Luke Gazdic on the way to kick off hour number 2. But first, a sports update from Jay Milne.
Those eyes, they don't lie. Well, the Oilers played what could be the final game in the NHL, at least for the time being, as they fall. Not for the Oilers. I'll have to change this. They fall to the Coyotes 5-2. Sam Carrick and Warren Fogle filled the net for your hometown squad, but next up is some scoreboard watching tonight, as they will have the first round opponent revealed to them as the Ducks face off against the Golden Knights and the Blackhawks face the Kings. Both games will determine the Western Conference playoff picture. Don't forget, the GC Diesel Oil Stream pregame is live on location at Hudson's White Avenue with Tom Gazzola and the entire EST crew for a listener party. Come down, watch the Oilers take on the Avs, and get some of those world-famous chicken wings. I know Zacticum's going to have some chicken wings. If you can't make it down, not to worry. The pregame show starts right here at 6 p.m. on Edmonton Sports Talk. And don't forget that the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show presented by GCL Diesel will be live on location at Hudson's for the entire Oilers postseason run. In the major leagues of baseball, Aaron Judge hit a 2-run single in the 9th to snap a 4-4 tie as the Yankees went on to avoid their first season sweep of the season. Next up for Toronto is a visit to San Diego, where that series will start Friday night. In the NBA, Joel Embiid showed why Philadelphia could definitely make a run in the postseason as he chipped in 23 points and 15 rebounds as the 76ers secure the 7th seed and will face the Knicks in round 1 action. In other action, the Bulls clip the Hawks, which means they will face off against the Heat with the winner securing the number 8 seed. And this story, wow. Raptors forward Jonte Porter has been officially banned from the NHL for violating the league's gaming rules, in part by placing bets on NBA games he was involved in through an associate's account. Yikes. And in the AJHL, Game 4 of the AJHL Championship went last night, and the Calgary Canucks are your 2024 Interpipeline champions as they defeat the White Court 4-3 last night in Town. This sports update has been brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting services. Whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential, plan it right with Green Plan. Visit greenplan.com or give them a call at 780-455-4292.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Thursday morning. You're listening to The Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the iHeart TuneIn radio apps, and as well you can catch us on YouTube. Coming up 7:05, former Oiler Luke Gazdic will join us for a hot lap trip around the NHL. We'll obviously be talking a little Oilers as well and potential playoff opponents that will be decided later tonight. So all that for Luke Gazdic. If you have any questions for Gaz as well, feel free to send them in via the Nasty Chat or the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, and we'd be glad to pass them off to him, albeit if you keep the eyes discussion to somewhat of a minimum. We can have that in here, but we don't need to bring it up too much with Luke. I'm sure he already knows the power of his eyes and those... there's something else.
Piercing.
Now I'm thinking of them, and even I'm losing train of thought here. So that's
Focus.
the power of them.
Focus.
Bam. So a conch for Luke Gazdic's eyes, please, if we can, Jay. And so we'll have that kicking off the 7 o'clock hour, and Tim Hauraney following in the 3 o'clock hour. Those are our two big guests today for Pro-Am Sports and Claiborne Services. But did get a good text I wanted to get here from Jimbo, 780-218-9999. And I don't know if it's text of the day, worthy day and W, $20 on the line, but he does make a great point. For the moment, can't we all just be satisfied with playoff appearances in 5 straight seasons? Let the final game play out and let's mentally prepare. He goes on to add, whenever I feel impatient, I just remember the decade of darkness. We've earned this as fans, the waiting included, and I think that's a great point as well. Only the ones with nothing to play. You put yourself in a position, the way they started the season, to think now with the final however many games, they were safe. It's not like they had to, last game and you're looking out east and it's coming down to the final one and you got to score this many goals or win this in regulation. They started the season right next to the San Jose Sharks for a long period of time. And now they're living fat and happy heading into the playoffs with a week of meaningless hockey, really, you can argue. So that's a feather in the cap. And great point there proven by Jimbo. We can all get a little fat and happy sometimes, and you don't really remember where you came from.
It's good to reflect. It's really always good to reflect. And I don't think anybody's complaining per se.
Complaining is a hard word, yeah. But maybe... impatience is
impatient, and that's okay.
That's okay too. Yeah,
it's okay when Christmas is near. You can't wait.
But Christmas Eve is the best thing, is it not? That's
it's a great, great evening. Christmas is my favorite time of the year. Like not even close.
Really, the winter. That's your.
Oh yeah. It was as far as like seasonal experiences and what do you want to call it? Some people love Halloween, some people love Canada Day, some people love summer solstice, spring,
I'm a big Victoria Day guy.
Victoria Day.
Love it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Labor Day?
Oh, Labor
Day.
Day. Oh, Labor Day. Ooh, yeah.
Labor Day's good.
Yeah, there's... What about you, Zach? You must have a holiday on your...
I was
big
born
Easter guy?
2 days before Halloween. I liked it when I was younger, and then I kind of got into it where I would just dress up enough to get candy. I'd just be a hockey player every single year, and get the stick. I loved Halloween for that, but I got to agree with Jay. Christmas, because just everything around it. I love winter. I loved building snow forts and just playing on the outdoor rink. Just the whole vibe. It's all cozy, right?
Yeah.
You all get together. You all stay
hot
warm and
cocoa
bundled. Yeah.
Slippers and stuff.
Yeah.
So Halloween though, did you you had that joint birthday party then? Was that the type of thing where it was like, oh yeah, come to Zach's birthday party, you can dress up and you kind of all that. Was that all combined into one?
You know, I've actually never have done that. 50-50 chance it snows on my birthday, so sometimes we do it a week before or whenever, what day it would fall on. But I don't think I've ever done that.
So
Maybe
you've
when I
always
was
gotten
6
your
or
own
7.
birthday celebrated and then Halloween. So you've had.
So I have 2
it's never
celebrations.
been mixed into
Yeah,
Good
and
for you.
never like those
What do you
kids
mean
who are
good
born
for
in-
you? You think that's good?
Well, he gets 2.
I get 2 celebrations.
I know, but you can still have
December 20 birthday here, and I tell you,
Okay.
once you hit that,
Uh,
I mean, 19th, whatever, 18th, people are still. Once 20 hits, it's like, it's Christmas season now. We gotta go. But I have a birthday, like that type of
Right.
thing. It's kind of all
That one I
mixed
can
into one.
understand.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
could be
yeah.
a little bit pissed off about
and
it.
not that too is. And it's not impatient either, but it's something like
There's
there's
something
in
there.
Yeah.
But Zach to come, I would take advantage of that and have birthday party dress up party and then real Halloween day.
You have
dress up.
both. You get both.
like,
You don't
best of both
yeah.
worlds, yeah.
But, yeah.
no,
But I thought you said you
didn't
never
bank on that.
had combined the birthday, like where you had the birthday dress up party.
No, well, maybe once when I was like 7 or 8 years old, but
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time I have. And December 20th, you would celebrate Christmas and your birthday sort of, you'd get the same gifts, or would you
well,
get
that's
2,
the thing.
right?
It's an excuse or a reason for someone to say, hey, Chris and birthday, here you go. So I'm just wondering if that was ever, parents. Look, I can't imagine it's too cheap to have children.
Have you seen the prices? I'm not just kidding.
So if you're gonna always combining
shouldn't
things into
kid,
one
'cause
is kind of, and
I shouldn't kid because
But
it is
no.
true. The prices of food are just
it's something. But I want to as well, and I think somebody in the Paris Jewelers inbox brought it up. Yeah, here it is. Millwood's Matt. One positive out of last night as well. Kind of petty, but Matthews failing to get to 70 goals. Stuck on 69 last night, and all eyes down in Tampa. Mark Masters on the scene. I mean, he's playing, and they're all excited. Lightning wins 6-4. Kucherov gets the 100 assist mark, which is, hell, we just had it in this market. 2
Pretty
players
impressive.
in the season getting 100 assists is something. But McDavid got it first, so let the record show. But Matthews, hey, no 70 for you. That's got to sting.
I
No 70 and now a date with the Bruins in the playoffs. Eh?
Okay, I have this as I says part, so I'm going to hold my thoughts on this because I do have a take on it, and I don't know if everybody's going to like it. I may get some hate towards it, but you know what? I'm going to hold it for the
We'll see.
no mitt. No, I'm going to hold my thoughts on that, but I do have some thoughts on it.
Well, do you want to? Does it make you say pardon? Do you have beef with it? Do you want to?
It did make me say pardon.
So maybe around 7:20 you can open up.
Stay
on this.
tuned. I believe that's the second day we've done a professional tease job.
You're hooking him. But no 70 for Matthews as that all wraps up. And the end of the regular season, yes, following tonight, 6 games on the sked, as Zactica mentioned earlier. The scenario out west here, Vegas at home to Anaheim. The Kings are at home to the Blackhawks. Kings need to win if they want a chance at the Oilers, and Vegas need to lose in that scenario. But other than that, it'll be the Golden Knights and Oilers sometime this weekend, early next week. TBD at this point. Avalanche, of course, hosting the Oilers tonight. Sharks in Calgary. Jets at home to the Canucks in a, we'll see what, again, maybe just a seeing out period, much as like we're going to see tonight in Denver between the Oilers and Avs, and then Minnesota and Seattle from the state of hockey to kind of wrap up the regular season schedule. We do have some playoffs set already. Saturday, you'll have Carolina at home to the Islanders, game 1 of that series. Of course, those 2 teams meeting last year, so a bit of a playoff rivalry developing there. Boston will host Toronto Saturday evening. That'll be 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain. So we'll get that one live from Boston, Leafs and Bruins. Moving on to Sunday, Battle of Florida will reignite. Down in Sunrise, Panthers hosting the Lightning, game 1 Sunday afternoon. Actually, check that. It'll be Sunday morning Mountain Time, 10:30. Game 1, Panthers and Lightning, Sunday morning. You then have the Rangers hosting the Capitals. That'll be at a cozy, comfortable 1 o'clock puck drop Mountain Time. Those are the 4 playoff series games, game ones that are set right now.
Just before we move along here, I just saw a question, which actually I want to clarify because Raj is in on the nasty chat and says, "Can I bring my baby to happy hour at Hudson's?" And you're allowed to bring your children until 9. They can only be there till 9. But that's a great question because a lot of us have kids, and a lot of us would love to bring them and be a part of the Oilers experience or watching a game with Zacticum.
And how cool is it when you're a kid and you get to go to those grown-up places?
Yeah, it is. It means so much to the kids. And I mean, if you have a baby, bring it, and we'll do pictures with Zacticum with your baby. Zacticum can kiss your baby tonight.
If you
have
want.
it. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Zach? Tim, you want to open up on that? No,
No comment.
no comment. You want to have a booth set up or anything?
I love kids. I mean, I have 2 nieces that are babies, so
sure,
I like
okay.
babies.
You have experience in the
Now
field.
I've got to
I
get
guess-
clarification on this, so I may have misspoke, but I'm going to dig in before the end of the show. We will have an answer as to whether kids are allowed at Hudson's on White or not. But I will get back to you on that.
780-218-9999 if you have any other questions regarding the Hudson's playoff watch parties and all that, or anything else erupting from last night. I know as well the NBA play-ins, as I mentioned earlier, going on. The Bulls defeating the Hawks 131-116. I know Jay had more than this in his sports update, which we'll get to as well in a few minutes' time. But 76ers as well, outlasting the Heat 105-104. Bulls will visit the Heat tomorrow, tip-off 5. And out west, it'll be the Kings and the Pelicans tomorrow, 7:30 from New Orleans. So that was your NBA picture from last night. And the Jays, of course, as Jay mentioned earlier as well, failing to complete the Judge. All rise for the Judge. Jays will be on the road hitting San Diego, where Dustin Nielson is at, and I do believe the Nielson family will be at the game Saturday, I want to say. Of course, the Jays have a day off today. Tomorrow will be the start of that series, 7:40 first pitch. Saturday, 6:40 first pitch. Jays and Padres from San Diego. So maybe we'll keep an eye on that and see if we can see Dusty holding up a sign or a cap, or maybe he'll have a few unpacking beers and, get a little wild at the game, a la George Costanza or something, or something along those lines. But have your say in the nasty chat. We are on YouTube Live, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as well, listening on the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps for you. Luke Gazdic coming up in a matter of minutes. I think he's in the bullpen getting ready, getting those eyes ready to go. Cool Bet Hotline of the day coming up as well. Jay, a bad beat last night, so close, but we'll get people back on the winning note.
We got a winner coming up
You got
tonight.
it. You're confident now, baby. 7:20. That'll be in the second hour. I got beef as well. A few teases on that, courtesy Corey the Butcher and Acme Meat Market and Ice's Pardon, rounding out hour 2. But once again, come after that $20 to A&W, 780-218-9999.
Jim Korchinski chimed in. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you pointing this out. Jay Milne announced that NBA Porter was banned from the NHL in my sports update, and I forgot the L in GCL Diesel. That report coming to you live from Jim Korchinski in the nasty chat. Jim, I will not let you down on my next sports. Oh, I just did.
Well, that was in the update, though, and that's good. I like people. I like the gatekeeping from the nasty chat and
Yes.
the text line.
Yes.
I
Gotta
know.
keep us in line.
Look,
Somebody needs to.
Nobody's. The boss ain't here, baby. HR Daddy is a province over, so we're living free and easy here. But by all means, nasty chat, text. Whatever you need to let us know or tell us that we may have forgotten, or maybe you got a good point that just kind of slips through the cracks. Please bang on the door. Let us know. It's a family affair here, as always. If you know, you know. So 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat.
Okay, hang on. This one could be a contender. This one could be a contender for text of the day. Surveyor Brett chimed in after the talk of children being, whether they're allowed or not. I'm going to get clarification on that. But he did say that kind of sucks that Zacticum has to leave by 9 p.m.
You even got a giggle out of Zach, too. I like it. That's
And
good.
if I don't go to bed before midnight, I turn into a pumpkin. That's what I used to
well,
do.
yeah.
You better get in bed, young man.
Pint of milk for you tonight at the bar. Hey, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see on
Nice
that.
tall pint of chocolate milk.
There you go.
I might even
Hey.
dabble in that.
A little sugar for you on a Thursday. Hey, why not? Eh?
Well
Well,
done.
it'll keep me up
done.
until 9.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So we'll get more into the game. Of course, as I mentioned with Luke Gazdic, he'll be coming up just around the wire here. But Thanks very much for tuning in the opening hour. I think, Jay, this is your... Joaquin Gage will be in tomorrow in that seat. We'll be doing the Friday show together, and you might be by next week for one more show. Correct?
Tuesday, I am here.
Tuesday. Well, look, it's been a blast having you. Of course, we have 2 more hours left in the show, but the opening hour is always fun with the conches and the levity of it all. So I'd like to, if you could conch yourself for coming in and handling all this.
May I?
And once again, just be reminded, if you are planning the playoffs right now, if you're getting your travel plans set between whichever opponent the Oilers might have in Vegas or LA, or you're just trying to contemplate the playoffs, maybe the patience is killing you. Head down to Sobeys and Safeway Liquor, pick up a 4-pack of the 6 o'clocker lager, $1 off, $12.99 for a 4-pack. Starting today, this promotion runs until June 30th. We are now entering prime beer drinking time and territory, so don't rest on this one. You know who I was on the shelves and showing up at a Sobeys. A matter of minutes can decide it, whether it's full or empty. So with this promotion, I would act quick, I would act swift, I would act fast, $12.99 per 4-pack. Sobeys and Safeway Liquor starting today, ending June 30th for the 6 o'clocker lager. And thanks as well again to Alley Cat Beer for being the provider of this delicious brew.
What a promotion. I mean, 4 tall cans for $12.99. I'm down with that.
And a workable beer, a 5-tool beer in which we had people texting in. They were using it as batter on their fish. I mean, you could probably, what other uses you could use for the 6 o'clocker lager? Keeping it respectful, of course. But I'm sure, again, with the tall cans, I mean, a shotgun tall can, which I did a few at the brewery there on the launch night, was always fun. Taking a couple of those down, but
that's a big one.
It's a big boy. Yeah, that's your big boy. But again, with the beer and how it tastes and how it's brewed, goes down smooth. So it's nice. It's not like shotgunning a tall boy HEPA or IPA or whatever.
NEPA?
Yeah,
NEPA.
That type of thing. So
Trainer Mark in on the Paris Jewelers inbox just took the kids to Hudson's at West Edmonton Mall Saturday. They are loud until 9. Trainer Mark coming through. Zach, you're good till 9.
Good till 9. Gonna get that milk. Maybe I've never put ice cubes in milk, but I feel like I'd want a nice, cool drink, right?
Just order what Dusty would normally order, and you'll fit right in.
children's menu, please.
Could I get the chicken fingers and fries with that?
Actually, the chicken tenders he had when we were at Hudson's on White last time. Did you see those?
Those things are breasts. They're pounded down. They're chicken breasts pounded down and called a tender.
And the crisp.
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Don't sleep on those puppies. That's a great
not
plate
sleep
and
on
great
those.
value for the plate.
And the crisp just folds around the chicken, so you have so much more surface area for whatever dip you choose. Which we're big dip guys.
Hey, we love the dip.
Love that dip.
But make your plans. If you want to get out and watch the game tonight, Hudson's the place. If you're staying home, pick up a couple of those 4-packs of the 6 o'clocker lager, and you shan't be disappointed. Coming up, Luke Gazdic as well, Sportsnet. We'll have him on to discuss the landscape of the NHL just before the postseason. That's brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Him and more, all on the way in hour number 2. Let's get to I do believe Luke's in the bullpen, so let's get to a sports update now, and we'll kind of get a little ahead of the clock. Jay Milne's got a sports update for Century Casino. Luke Gazdic from Sportsnet just around the corner.
The Oilers played what could be the final game in Phoenix as they fall to 5-2 to the Coyotes. Sam Carrick and Warren Fogle fill the net for your hometown squad, but next up is some scoreboard watching tonight as the Oilers will have their first round opponent revealed. As the Ducks face off against the Golden Knights and the Blackhawks face the Kings, both games will determine the Western Conference playoff picture. The GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame is live on location at Hudson's White Avenue with Tom Gazzola and the entire EST crew for a listener party. Come down, watch the Oilers, take on the Avs, and get some of those world-famous chicken wings and chicken tendies. If you can't make it down, not to worry. It's the pregame starts right here on EST at 6 p.m. And don't forget that the Oil Stream pre- and post show presented by GCL Diesel will be live on location at Hudson's for the entire Oilers postseason run. In the MLB last night, Aaron Judge hit a 2-run single in the 9th to snap a 4-4 tie as the Yankees went on to avoid their first season sweep of the season. Next up for Toronto is a visit to San Diego, where that series will start Friday night. In the NBA, Joel Embiid showed exactly why Philadelphia could definitely make a run in the postseason, as he chipped in 23 points and 15 rebounds as the 76ers secure the 7th seed and will face the Knicks in round 1 action. In other action, the Bulls clipped the Hawks, which means they will face off against the Heat, with the winner securing the number 8 seed. And this story is an interesting one, and it's a crazy one. Raptors forward Jonte Porter has been banned from the NBA for violating the league's gaming rules, in part by placing games on NBA games he was involved in through an associate's account. Yikes, yikes, yikes. And in the AJHL, Game 4 of the AJHL Championship went last night, and the Calgary Canucks are your 2024 Interpipeline champions as they defeat Whitecourt 4-3 last night in Cowtown. This sports update was brought to you by the Sports Bar and Lounge at Century Casino on Fort Road, your home for the Oilers' push to the postseason. Catch all the action at Century Casino's Sports Bar and Lounge.
She bought a car working nights at the mall. TV taught her how to drive it. She bought a car, didn't want one too small. Bought a K car, reliant. That other boy wasn't pushy at all. She'd be the first one to tell you she wanted to try it. Put the tab on the tongue, put the lights down low, put the phone in the pocket on silent. Baby got a tattoo, snake on her hip, goes down where I haven't seen yet. Baby got a tattoo, snake on her hip goes. I gotta admit that I'm falling in love with the thought.
6:58, Edmonton's own Whale and the Wolf playing us in. The boys' local band. You can check them out, Whale and the Wolf, on all social media. They're very active online. Check them out today. Download their stuff, buy their shirts, buy their apparel. Support local, Whale and the Wolf. We thank them very much for being our EST in-house band, one of, hopefully many that might join the fold. And I don't want to speak too much out of turn here, or Matthew Iwanek will find me. So Whale and the Wolf, check them out today online. Great local band here, playing their own brand of what I like to call erotic rock. Luke Gazdic will be joining us right now, Sportsnet hockey analyst, of course, host of the Mitts Off Pod. You can follow that at Mitts Off Pod on Twitter. Of course, he's on Twitter at Luke Gazdic. And we welcome in this morning. Luke, thanks for taking the time to join us once again. Dustin Nielson on vacation in San Diego, a well-earned and deserved vacation, taking time off from, most importantly, his phone, I think, in all of this, to have some time with his family. But myself, Lieutenant Eric, Jason Milne joining me as well, and Zach Tickham behind the monitors. But, Luke, I just wanted to start off getting into last night. I don't know what emotion you draw up from that Coyotes final home game. I mean, you had the white shirts, jerseys out there, but also dotted with a little blue and orange in that, small cedar Tempe College arena. What kind of thoughts were pouring over you as you were watching the pregame? The club was fired up on the ice, and rightfully so. They come away with the win. But your thoughts on the final game down there in the state of Arizona for now?
Yeah, obviously emotional night for a lot of people. One of the points I've made from the start, which looks to be resolved now, but we're not sure. It looks like they're keeping the AHL team there in terms of keeping some of the business staff around. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I think too, first and foremost, is the business staff and the relationships that I had with people from game day operations to community relations to ticket sales and marketing. When I come back to Edmonton, I still take a walk through corporate and still say hi to some of the people that I became friends with in working there. So I hope that too many people's jobs aren't, or people aren't suffering from this, from the move. But it was always a cool place for us to go play, just because of all the Alberta snowbirds that were there. Even when they were in Glendale, I mean, I never got the chance to play in Mullet, but the amount of Oiler fans that would come in and pack there was always cool. And listen, I thought about the guys first and foremost on the team. But it sounds like some of them are excited to move and be a part of something bigger and get treated a little better. But first and foremost, hopefully the business staff find some jobs at the end of the day. And I know Bill Armstrong took them all onto the ice after and took a photo. So it's people like that I think of that take the brunt of these big decisions that have no say in the move whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's Jay brought that up earlier today as well, and that's kind of it's not always shown on the cameras and broadcast during the play, but certainly important part and an ingredient in success of an organization. But you mentioned too a positive. Salt Lake's getting a pretty good club here, right? I mean, I think the forward group is young, fun to watch. Maybe you clean up in a few other areas. But I think with the depressing story that was the Coyotes over these last few years, going to a market now with an owner that's very excited, an untapped market, I guess you could say, but getting this team as a gift to you as a Salt Lake City resident or hockey fan or whatever, that's not a bad place to start with this club and this roster as it is.
Honestly, this might be better than expansion.
Yeah.
They have a really, pretty solid young core of guys with Dylan Guenther and Logan Cooley, and I'll even include Clayton Keller in that. They have a closet full of draft picks, 10 second rounders next 3 years. They have 0 up into next million cap. Pretty position to be. Anytime
Let's pause him, Zach. We'll just pause, Luke. If you could reconnect or try to the audio was just cutting in and out, something peculiar there. So we'll just give Luke time to do a quick reconnect. Luke Gazdic as well, a Sportsnet hockey analyst, of course, host of the Mitsoff podcast as well. But he made a good point with the staff and everything like that, and I'd have to agree because here we go. Let's give a test.
Am I coming?
Am
I coming through better?
Beautiful.
How's that sound, guys?
Great.
Is that clear?
Crystal clear. Wow.
Oh, I made the old rookie mistake. I had the microphone set on my AirPods, not my beautiful microphone that's sitting right in front of me.
We've done that a few times here before as well. That's par for the course here, Luke.
Well, I don't know what you guys caught, but honestly, they have an absolute gift that they're walking into in Salt Lake. A closet full of prospects, draft picks, and they're going to spend. This is a first-year team, and they're going to want to get the fans in the stands and the fans on board and buying into this early. So a successful product on the ice helps that. It's a pretty cool situation for them to be walking into, and hopefully they upgrade all the stuff there. I know they need some help at the rink, and he talked about building a practice rink, but in terms of bare bones of what's going over to Salt Lake, it looks better than an expansion team, to be honest.
In terms of the other team on the ice last night, the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, we've been canvassing opinion here. And again, I just think it's quite remarkable too with the start they had to the season. We're now sitting here and they're not using or needing that final game to kind of qualify or get in or whatever. It's good. One texter pointed out, I mean, you go through a decade of darkness. Waiting is one of those privileges of being a good team right now. You've done your work, and they had a lot of work to do to catch up to where they are right now during the regular season. But the impatience last night, I mean, 2 games, you got one tonight against the Avalanche. Do you read anything out of that Oilers game last night? I guess we've been talking about Warren Foegele and the year he's been having. I mean, it's just spoken for itself, but 20 goals, career high, 21 assists, career high points as well. He was a shining light. But anything else you're pulling out of that Oilers game in terms of just health across the board? Score be damned, but let's just cycle the lines, keep all things healthy and all things fresh, or anything else you're pulling out of last night's affair?
No, that's exactly it. Listen, this is an emotional night, and there's a ton going on. I feel like it's a huge distraction in terms of what they're trying to accomplish, but you try to pull the positives out of it. I thought the fourth line had a great job. There's guys vying for playoff spots and rosters in, Janmark, Sammy Carrick scored last night,
10 now
Connor
for
Brown, all guys that want to be starting on the roster and playing against whoever it may be in the first rounds. So I thought they did a great job. Getting scored on early sucks. Sammy got hit in the neutral zone and ends up eating a minus because he doesn't beat his check back. And the response of coming back and getting your team on the board, I'll take a positive out of that. And I thought young Phillip Broberg looked pretty good. He skated well. I don't know if he meant to, but he snowed the goalie one time, had a little bit of attitude there. I was laughing at that. I was like, I wonder if the kid meant to do that, but he was skating well. He passed the puck well. I didn't think he made any crazy mistakes that cost them too much. And I think that's nice to know going forward that, if you get in a position where you have to inject guys in. Stetch and Broberg, I think, can step in and probably do a job for them. So you try to look at the positives and move on to Colorado. I think the biggest thing, right, is keeping guys healthy. And you said that is, I don't know if that's on their minds. It probably is a bit in terms of not wanting to get injured, but the big boys won't be playing against the Avs. I was dying during the intermission when Stoff was talking to Gene, and Gene's trying to sell everyone to watch the last game of the season, and Stoff's like, well, no Connor, no Hyman, no Draisaitl, but you guys should still watch. Still be a good game.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned Broberg as well, and an assist, 1650 ice time. I mean, even if the snow shower, I think he spoke too about confidence pregame, and Holloway was talking about confidence and how these two guys have kind of grown down the stretch here in Bakersfield. And that's, I mean, I know Gagne and Ernie were recalled yesterday as well, but you got to love the confidence and just the growth in terms of Broberg and Holloway, just in terms of how they speak and carrying themselves right now. Great vibes heading into a postseason run.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that's not always the case in the American League. Every organization is run differently, and I've played for a number of AHL teams that sometimes have a disconnect between the parent franchise and what they're trying to accomplish. But going down there can certainly help your confidence, give you tons of touches, tons of reps. I think what Colin Chalk has going down there is something special. I had the opportunity to talk to Slater Cuckoo earlier in the year, and I'll never forget the conversation I had with him on my podcast about how Colin helped him towards the end of his career and the atmosphere that he was curating down there in Bakersfield. And so they're obviously doing something right down there in terms of, making guys feel good and giving them the opportunities that they need to, and also being in sync with, the ideas and the philosophies that the Oilers up top want them to. So it's a great league to go down there, get a ton of minutes, get a ton of reps, feel the puck, play against some, subpar competition in terms of what you're facing up top. But certainly Phillip's a benefactor of that, and Dylan's been outstanding. Has he ever pushed for a playoff job here? In my opinion, personally, I'm still kind of on the fence of this. I think he starts out. I think if they were playing anybody but Vegas, he starts in. But since it's Vegas, I think they keep the fourth line status quo. But what a benefit to have of him sitting outside the lineup, looking in, a hungry, young, motivated player who can hopefully make a difference down the line here.
And Luke, there's been a lot of talk about the Hart Trophy decision this year and how it's coming down to the four finalists that, given any other year, any of those four finalists probably would have been the runaway winner. But, and this is a two-part question. I'll ask you this first. Where do you see this shaking up? Is Nathan MacKinnon running away with this at this point, or not running away with it, but is he the clear leader, heading into the last night or last two nights of regular season play?
So here's kind of where I'm sitting on this, and this sucks for Oiler fans to hear, but for as good of a year as Connors have and how he dragged them back into it, he's probably not even going to be nominated, which is crazy to think. I think Cooch will be there. Cooch sounds like the very popular vote right now, but to me, I know he has 54 more points than the next guy on his team in Braden Point, but he also has 53 points on the power play, and he has 14 empty net points. 7 of those are goals. I take huge stock in that. For a player that's not incredible defensively, to have 50 plus points, and I know Nate has 47, but I think Nate, I think this is Nate's trophy. I think everything that he's done this year from top to bottom, from start to finish, I look at the ice time is one for me that's insane, where he's averaging 25 minutes a night and has the entire season. He's played more minutes out of any forward in the National Hockey League, plays against top lines. And I think Austin has made a real case for it. And I don't care if it's 69 or 70. I know 70 is a nice round number, and I might have some Toronto bias here, but out of those four guys that I mentioned, including Connor, he has the best defensive stats by a mile and plays against every single top center that comes through here. Talk about takeaways, face-off percentage, even strength goals, even strength points. He has come a long way. So if I'm voting or ranking right now, I think I'll tell you guys it's Nate 1, it's Austin 2, it's Cooch 3, and unfortunately it's Connor 4. That's just
Connor doesn't make your podium, hey?
And you know what? I might change that the second I get off here, but I just don't know I don't know who you knock out. I don't know who slips out for him. I think what Austin's done is incredible. To be that good defensively and have the numbers he does, and to be considered for a Selke trophy, but also have 69 goals is absolutely wild.
Now, to follow up with that, obviously, a lot of these candidates are captains or assistant captains on their respective teams. Had a question come in on the inbox this morning, the Paris Jewelers inbox from KCF. Question for Gazdic: have you ever been on a team where the captain shouldn't have been the captain?
Oh man, I was just going to say you're asking me to throw someone under the bus, but I guess I could tell about a situation, but not necessarily.
Maybe don't name names, but what it was like and what you went through as players in that locker room.
No, because in 11 years I was only on. Now that I'm counting back, I was only on 3 instances. One in the minors, where I watched the captain get named. One of them was Andrew Ferentz in Edmonton. One of them was Sam Carrick in San Diego. And one of them was Jamie Benn in Dallas. And to be honest, I think all 3 were outstanding picks. Listen, I know how the Ferentz one kind of sat in Edmonton. At the start, I think it looked like this great thing, him coming over from Boston, having a ton of experience, Stanley Cup champion, Edmonton native, and all that. I think there was a bit of discourse there in them wanting to name maybe someone younger. And I really had a good relationship with Fair. Fair called it like it was. He was extremely honest. When we were in the dressing room, he gave it to us a couple times for not just on ice, but off ice things. And I had a really good relationship with Andrew. So I'll say that out of 11 years, I watched 3 captains get named, and I thought all of them were incredible choices. So I got nobody to bury for you.
Hockey analyst Luke Gazdic joining us this morning on the Nielson Show, Edmonton Sports Talk. You can find us iHeart, TuneIn Radio, and on YouTube. Lieutenant Eric, Jason Milne, Zacticum behind the monitors. You can check out Luke Gazdic, Sportsnet analyst, also host of the Mitsoff Pod. I just wanted to get Luke zooming out to the playoff picture in a few series. Obviously, the one we're watching here out west, not set just yet. That'll be determined later tonight. Golden Knights and Kings will both play out their final game to determine who draws the Oilers and who draws the Stars. But we do have some series set. We do have some games also set Saturday and Sunday. But Bruins Leafs, I mean, that jumps off the page for a lot of people here. What else are you looking forward to in these Stanley Cup playoffs, opening rounds specifically, in terms of matchups, storylines, rivalries, and that sort of thing?
Yeah, good question. I think out east here is going to be interesting. No one here in Toronto wanted to draw Boston, and I think you can understand why. I haven't beaten them in the playoffs in 1959, haven't beaten them in a game in 3 years.
It is 59. Hey, back to the 50s, correct?
Yeah, 1959 was the last time the Leafs beat the Bruins in the playoffs. I don't mind the matchup, though, to be honest, just strictly on paper and from them having to play Florida as the other scenario. Yeah. I like the Boston matchup better. I really hope this Leaf team is ready for it. It's going to be a tough series, probably go 7. But matchup wise, I don't mind that for Toronto. They got to start with hopefully a win or pick up one in Boston and go from there. On the west side, I'm really excited to watch Colorado and Winnipeg go at it. Yeah. And it's
with the Jets having home ice advantage of all things. Hey, I mean,
I know. And it's crazy. It's just the way the playoffs are formatted. I thought, they both had outstanding seasons, and one of them, both of them are probably Stanley Cup contenders, and one of them are going to go home real early here. So out west, that's what I'm looking for. Obviously keeping an eye on what's going to happen with the Oil here. Not sure what's going to happen or if I really want Vegas in round 1. But there's definitely going to be some great series. And you know what? I should add out east to the Battle of Florida with Tampa and Florida playing is going to be a heck of a hockey series. Those teams are going to beat the heck out of each other. And it's going to be a fun playoffs to watch. Honestly, I'm really excited to see how things shake out.
Should be good. And again, following tonight, we'll see. Just one quick one for you. I mean, if you were either Vegas or LA, I mean, would you? I mean, again, we have to preface this with they're all hard games. You're in the playoffs. They're all hard teams. I get that, but you're Vegas or LA. I mean, who would you rather not see, Dallas or Edmonton? Who would you in those skates of those teams? Who would you rather avoid, or who would you rather match up against in terms of either the Oilers or the Stars?
Oh man, I think this is nothing against the Oilers, but I think they want to avoid Dallas first and foremost. That is a team that has no trouble scoring goals and depth from top to bottom. But at the same time, are you really? You better be careful what you wish for with a playoff McDavid and a playoff Draisaitl. So it's like, which one do you want here? They play a little differently. I think it is a tougher atmosphere to come into Edmonton and win than it is to go on the road in Dallas and win. But Dallas is a little more high flying. I think LA would have their hands full with the Stars. I think it would be a tough defensive system to play with four lines that roll and love to, feast off transition and love to send the wingers down the walls. Like, I think LA would have a very hard time with Dallas and will. I think Vegas secretly wants Edmonton, and I think they should be careful what they wish for, because I love Edmonton having them right off the bat with home ice advantage. Some of the best hockey I've seen Edmonton play over the last couple of years was the first round of the playoffs versus LA. And with home ice advantage, Mark Stone's coming in to play the first games he has in a couple months. Hurdle's still getting used to the system. Aiden Hill's banged up. Get after him. Why not? Right,
that's the thing.
right
these
away
guys
here.
are coming back, but they're not. It does take you a little bit of time to get up to speed, and to just kind of parachute in for game one of the playoffs doesn't necessarily translate to immediate success.
100%. It's gonna take some time, and that's been my MO on Vegas here. Is they're going to get better and better as they go on. Every series that they pick up, they're gonna get better and better. So why not try and handle them in round one? And it looks as if it's going to be that way, but we'll see what happens tonight, guys.
Well, you said that secretly you think Vegas wants the Oilers. I think secretly Oilers fans want Vegas too. So that could be a match made in heaven.
It's gonna be. We had the privilege of being down there for that Vegas game just in the spring and February, and that, I mean, give me 100 more of those, please. I mean, it's just the fan base down there is into it. Maybe a little ignorant at times, but you can't fault them for Hart. And I think it's a great rivalry that's developed. Also one that they've been having with the Kings over the past couple years. But Luke, we appreciate your time. If you could let the listeners and viewers know where we can see you next, where we can hear you next, where we can find you next, anything going on with the Mitsoff Pod, and where you'll be on our TV screens coming up here.
So if anyone out there watches Hockey Central, it's my last one tonight, and then the playoff schedule is up in the air here. So we're not really sure because there's 4 Canadian teams. So we'll see how they work the panels. Hopefully I get some playoff appearances on the network. I have 2 playoff previews dropping on the Mitsoff Pod Friday. Oilers and whoever they're playing. I'm going to be co-hosting it with my buddy Mike Fuda, Stanley Cup champion GM with the LA Kings. And then I'm actually going to do a preview on the Toronto Boston with Andrew Raycroft, who works rinkside for the Bruins. So I'm doing a split pod series to preview those 2. Hopefully you see me on Sportsnet. And to be honest, guys, I'll be out there next week. So you guys might even see me for maybe game 2 or game 5. Gonna try to figure this out. I'm out for the Alzheimer's Society Pro-Am next weekend in Edmonton, so I will be boots on the ground in Alberta.
Sweet. Hopefully Dustin Nielsen, you two can kind of cross paths. Don't be a stranger. Always the door is wide open for you here, Luke, but we appreciate your time as always. Have an enjoyable rest of your week, and enjoy the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. You guys are the best. Go Oil.
There you have it. Luke Gazdic, one of the best, our Black Ace hockey analyst, Sportsnet's own, also host of the Mitsoff Pod, a great podcast. And as you mentioned there, you can find out it's at Mitsoff Pod on Twitter. So you can check him out there. Great podcast, great host, and a great analyst. Watching, listening, whatever. I'm sure the guy smells good too. All the senses, all the sensory. Luke Gazdic's got it nailed.
I think regular nasty chatter, Joel's Hart just stopped.
Oh yeah. That announcement, him coming to town. I mean, I don't care what concert's coming. The Shania Twains of the world, whatever it is. Luke Gazdic's coming to town next week. Get your
there you
tickets,
go.
right? So we appreciate his time this morning, as always, setting you up.
I thought that was interesting for him to throw caution to the wind that he's broadcasting in an Edmonton area, but speak facts about what's upcoming with the Hart Trophy and how that's going to go. I mean.
The fascinating thing with these insiders, we get them once a week.
Yeah.
And in the hockey, sports world, whatever, a lot can change in a week. So this Hart conversation, as it's been going on, you've kind of had, McKinnon, McDavid, Kucherov, and weeks back, we're like, well, that's probably going to be the podium. How you dress them 1, 2, 3, that's debatable, and you can kind of switch around. But now today, I mean, he's got McDavid off the podium and issuing a few other players, and Matthews getting the bump in there as well. So fascinating stuff. I always find that hard. And of course, when McDavid's off the podium or somebody suggests that he's off or not worthy of it or probably not going to get, he only wants the Conn Smythe. He only wants the cup. I mean, who cares about the Hart Trophy anyways, right, Jay?
Exactly. As Dr. Dre said, or Dry, in the Paris Jewelers inbox, hit us up at 780-218-9999. All I care about is McDavid winning a Conn Smythe.
Yeah, and I mean that's you go for the and that's why I find the in-season tournament in the NBA fascinating. I mean, you only go for what you can get.
That's right.
If
compete
you're
when you can compete.
Yeah, compete when you compete, and whatever competitions you're in, go for them. But if you're not, go for the ones that you are in and that you want and that you haven't maybe achieved yet or before. So yeah. Connor, I'm sure, has his eyes on bigger prizes and bigger fish, as do the team. But, he cares. It's like he doesn't care.
Who wouldn't care? I mean,
he's not Shark Scully Cooley, who doesn't care about anything the other night.
No,
right?
if you were to sit here and say that a professional hockey player who's trying to win the most prestigious award in your area or your area of expertise and you didn't care about it, you'd be lying. These are competitors for a reason. They've been competing their entire life since they could skate. They've been competing. So, of course, they care.
Yeah. Timber Woodsman says Gazdic is dead to me now. He said enough glowing things about the Oilers during the season. I think he's built up enough cachet that he can kind of, say a few nice things about Austin Matthews and the Leafs. I mean, we'll give him one, right? I think
you got to give him one.
I think he's earned it.
Well, it's amazing the fact that he almost scored 70. Like, it would be historical. Almost.
Got stuck on 69. Eh?
He didn't score 70, but the fact that he got that close to scoring and hitting such an historic marker is fantastic. And I got to
give it to him just because he didn't get 70. As a reward for getting so close. Well, here you got it.
Well, I agree with Gazdic there. The fact that I think McKinnon is the front running for the Hart. And Kucherov and Matthews up there as well. It doesn't mean that we're against McDavid or anything like that. He's had a fantastic season once again, but it just shows the skill that has emerged in this season and what hockey that we're so gifted to watch this year. It was insane seeing how many 100-point players there are and how many records were being matched 30 years ago and matching seasons that haven't happened in my lifetime. It's fantastic for me to watch. I've never seen anything like it in my hockey watching days so far, and I'm just excited for everybody. I think McKinnon deserves it. I mean, McDavid has won the Hart.
Yeah.
Right? He already has those trophies in the trophy case, and he is worried about other things. And he does care just a little bit. I do agree.
He's a competitor. He'll care about everything. But Dean Belanger points out in the Nasty Chat as well, and I've always subscribed to this too, because he's a guy that you say jump, he'll say how high. That's he knows he's got the skill to do it. So Dean chimes in and says 97 obviously sets goals. Last year was the Rocket. This year was 100 A's. And the Stanley, he doesn't care about the Hart. That should excite you as an Oilers fan. And yes, he's carving out a career here. And it's like, hey, bet you can't get, like, if you challenge Connor McDavid to get 200 penalty minutes next season, I think he'd take that personally, and he'd, hypothetically speaking, but you get the theme I'm on here. Any challenge you put in front of him, he's going to slay it. And he only needs to do it once. Why does he need to keep going? He's going to go after those things that he hasn't achieved yet. So he's proven to you what he can do in the goals. He's now proven to you what he can do with the assists. He's gotten the individual awards. Time for the next step. Time for the elevation, right? And that's the cup. That's the Conn Smythe.
Now it's the cup, right?
Yeah.
That's the next ultimate goal.
And if they win the
obviously.
cup, I mean, he'd be your. I mean, you'd.
If they win the cup,
I don't know what
then
other
he's
storyline
not,
involves him not
then
drink.
I don't know how they win the cup.
Right. So,
Zach, have you ever played the horseshoes?
Like horseshoe, you throw in the horseshoe?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Who hasn't? Yeah.
I'm just wondering because it's you were
need
talking
some
a lot
luck
about
there.
Austin Matthews being so close.
so close. Like you
And-
last night with RNH. So close.
That's right. I was so close. I was millimeters away
almost
from
like it was
cashing
there,
that
but
cool
wasn't.
bet. But no, there's just people chiming in that it's too bad we're not playing horseshoes right now, considering that Austin Matthews was so close to 70, but he didn't get it. So a lot of sour grapes towards your take, which we'll find out. I somewhat agree with what Zach said.
I had an inkling that you might have agreed with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I says pardon.
Yeah. The Vegas word is not almost this morning as well. I know we've been kind of tossing that word around, but it's not almost. The Vegas word will be on in about less than an hour now, 8:20ish. We'll announce your Vegas word for qualifying to a trip down to Vegas, courtesy Fly YEG. Nasty Chat is bumping. Dewfish P says they have an award for goals. McKinnon is the Hart winner, easy. We had Dean's text there as well. Where is this other one here? Yeah, Zach, they're loving you, Zach. They're loving the fact that you're wearing an EST cap and not a Henderson Silver Knights cap like you did. Was
Henderson
it
Silver
Henderson or was
No,
it was a Golden
it was
Knights
a
cap, right?
Vegas
I thought it was
Golden
a
Knights
Henderson.
hat. Well,
Silver
the thing
Knights.
was, I paired it with the LA Kings
yes.
jersey while the Oilers
Yeah.
were playing the LA Kings. I think it was Game 5 I went to, so pretty deep in that round. But nobody ever called me out on the fact that it wasn't an LA Kings hat. They didn't get the bit. They didn't get it, and there was some, let's say,
Too small.
not so happy.
Too small. They didn't get it.
Individuals. There were some people I ran into that were not as welcoming as most Oilers fans are.
As people get to know you more and hear you more and see you more, they'll begin to understand, like we have here in house.
The bit master.
the what shall we say it here? Your way to communicate, whether it be through dress or word. But you will, I think, will be out probably. That was a bet. You lost a fantasy league, right? And they sent you out. You had to be in the moss pit. You were wearing, look at me, I'm an opponent, and everybody's like, oh, you idiot, and you're like, oh, it's fantasy. But I think we'll have you out this year, somewhere out in the wild, doing your thing, dressed either EST or home team appropriate. We're not going to punish you. But your chance to see Zacticum this Stanley Cup playoff run, you thought Luke Gazdic coming to town was something. Wait till we unleash this guy on the streets, eh?
Yo.
I say
so.
Yeah,
I didn't lose fantasy this year, so I don't have any
Right,
punishment.
No punishment.
No punishment
How
this
did you do?
year.
Did you win? Was it the
Yeah,
comeback? We don't need
12th
to-
out of
Okay.
14.
Well, hey, you didn't lose.
No
That's
money
good.
league. No money league.
No, that's fine.
So
yeah.
it's hard to care about a non-money league when there's nothing actually on the line. I
Just
I
brag.
don't
You're like
care.
Connor McDavid. You don't care.
Yeah. I don't need it, but
Give it the big
I would
prizes.
care.
Right,
If I
yeah.
won, I'd brag.
I can't cheer for anybody for any sort of winnings and whatnot in fantasy. I've been on a cold streak.
Well, we're going to correct that right now with the Cool Bet Canada hotline of the
We
day,
are.
I think. I mean, let's
Yeah.
dive right into this because last night, if you were watching and viewing or listening yesterday morning, Jay pulled no punches. He said a Nuge goal. He said the area of the ice. He got it as most descript as anybody would have, except the puck getting into the net. Of all things, I mean, high slot, right?
I said
was it
high slot.
low slot, high slot.
I said glove high, but this was actually blocker high, but it was high.
It was high.
It was high. It was too high.
Hell of a shot. But yeah, it just
Kind of a la Austin Matthews' shot attempt last
so
night.
close. Went
So
to the
close.
replay, right? And couldn't.
They thought it was a goal on ice, and
Well, Jack Michaels says it's goal. I mean, speak it into existence, man. They just
Why
say,
not?
Yeah. What did they? He said the ref triple pointed, like he was so sure. He's like,
after review, that goal didn't stand. But I shot my shot. What are you going to do?
where are we going today, though? Let's get a winner.
We are going to go with an NHL parlay. I think you'd be remiss as any sort of a person that likes to wager a little bit on coolbet.com or coolbet.ca. I'm going to parlay the LA Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights.
Here we go.
Both are heavy favorites, but when you parlay the two of them, you're getting decent value at minus 156. Both those teams are playing to win tonight. There's no question.
Winning, you're in.
Yeah, winning you're in.
Unless, yeah.
But you know what I mean? Nobody's really going to be taking the night off in those games. They're both, I feel, playing against far inferior teams. So that's the play of the night. LA Kings, Vegas Golden Knights, parlay. minus 156. That is your cool bet line of the day.
Follow him to the bank. You were steps away. That's what they
I don't
say in
think
horseshoes,
I don't
steps
know.
away, right? And I like this Zulu. I yelled, "Hot damn, glue guy," when I thought that was in. And again, if you were riding along yesterday morning and you heard him profess that, again, the location, everything's so specific. Like, that's my guy. It's the DiCaprio thing. I had the beer and the cigarette. I'm like, that's my guy. That's my guy. And not to be, but man.
We'll celebrate tonight.
We will celebrate that. I'd say you're closer than that than Matthews at the 69. Much tougher to do what you did. Or attempt to do what you did.
And I thought we should spoke it into existence like you said, but no, nonetheless it didn't happen. But you know what? It sure made it a little bit exciting for, being, 10 minutes into the first period?
Yep, and that's the point. Cool bet, good betting sponsors, good betting friends. Bet cool, stay responsibly. I think that's the phrase they use, right?
Bet responsibly, obviously, always, always, always.
But yeah, as Jay said, these games, playing up the string, adds a little something to the event. So tonight, watching Vegas and LA, and obviously Oilers and Avalanche, you can ride with Jay there on that parlay, courtesy our friends up at CoolBet. Let's have a recap of what else went on last night in sports. We'll hit a sports update here for Park Mazda. We'll come back, play out the rest of the second hour with a little I Got Beef and an I Says Pardon on the way prior to hour number 3. But a sports update here from Jay Milne.
The Oilers played what could be the final game in Phoenix, at least for the time being, as they fall 5-2 to the Coyotes. Sam Carrick and Warren Foegele filled the net for your hometown squad. But next up is some scoreboard watching tonight, as the Oilers will have their first round opponent revealed as the Ducks face off against the Golden Knights, then the Blackhawks face off against the Kings. Both games will determine the Western Conference playoff picture, so we will know more later tonight. The GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame is live on location at Hudson's White Ave with Tom Gazzola and the entire EST crew for a listener party. Come down, watch the Oilers take on the Avs, and get some of those world-famous chicken wings. If you can't make it down, not to worry, as the pregame starts right here at 6 p.m. on Edmonton Sports Talk. And don't forget that the Oil Stream pre- and post show presented by GCL Diesel will be live on location at Hudson's for the entire Oilers postseason run. Go to EST.com to check out our live on locations, and you can see where the crew will be and where Tommy will be. In the MLB, Aaron Judge hit a 2-run single in the 9th to snap a 4-4 tie as the Yankees went to avoid their first season sweep of the season. Next up for Toronto is a visit to San Diego, where that series will start Friday night. In the NBA, Joel Embiid showed why Philadelphia could definitely make a run in the postseason, as he chipped in 23 points and 15 rebounds as the 76ers secure the 7th seed and will face the New York Knicks in round 1 action. In other action, the Bulls clipped the Hawks, which means they will face off against the Heat, with the winner securing the number 8 seed. And this story just keeps getting uglier. Raptors former forward Jonte Porter has been banned from the NBA for violating the league's gaming rules, in part by placing bets on NBA games he was involved in through an associate's account. That is not a good situation. Game 4 of the AHL Championship went last night, and the Calgary Canucks are your 2024 Interpipeline champions as they defeat Whitecourt 4-3 last night in Cowtown. This sports update was brought to you by the staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki. Mitch would walk through a fire for his daughters. Well, not fire, because it's dangerous. But maybe a super humid room, but not too humid because of his hair.
If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Leonard Skinner with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
7:35, you're listening to the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and we, of course, live on YouTube. Got the Hangout coming up after this, 9 to 11 this morning. I do believe Joaquin Gage will be joining Matt Iwanek, hopefully today, and then it'll be a bit of the Lock Shop with Hustler out of Winnipeg Sports Talk, and a two guys and a goalie to come as well with, I do believe, Matthew Iwanek rounding out the program today. You'll have a Vegas keyword on each of those shows, including this one. Ours will be coming up at 8:20 this morning. Of course, Lieutenant Eric in for Dustin Nielsen, Jay Milne as well, glue guy around EST, and Zach to come behind the monitors this morning, powering you through. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. It's the Paris Jewelers inbox. And on the line today for the best text, $20 to A&W. So get your texts in regarding whatever, sports or otherwise, 780-218-9999, and you could be $20 richer in A&W credits. And of course the nasty chat bumping as always. Somebody chimed in, is LTE gaining weight? I don't think, now maybe it's the shirt or maybe it's the lack of or the tied back hair, but I assure you I haven't gained a pound since I don't know, college days, I would say, when I was living a little more loose and free. But no, me and weight, no. Maybe around the spare tire continues to grow, but
I don't think you're ever going to be in jeopardy of gaining a lot of weight.
I'm not a big man. Yeah, my what's it? The BMI,
body mass index.
I think I'm still.
You're probably right there.
I'm right in the good spot. So, and I don't think I'll be moving too much. I don't fluctuate. I'm not like, I don't know. I remember last time I stepped on a scale, to be honest with you. Probably around like $150, $155.
Yeah. I don't know. You are what you
are.
Wet
160.
I mean, unless you're completely out of control and you're super overweight, or you're completely out of control and super underweight. It's really hard to change who you are if you just try to eat as healthy as you can.
Diet helps.
Diet does help.
But no, to answer the question, I don't believe I am. But by me admitting I haven't been on a scale, who's to say? Maybe it's a slim 200. I'm coming in at right now.
I think you look fantastic.
Hey, thanks. And I did not cut the hair either. It's just pulled back. So just trying to up the different times. It's called for a different type of a style. And that's what I'm trying to emulate.
Is this paying homage to the late great Jimmy Buffett?
Do you want to touch it?
Or, yes, I do.
Ooh,
that's like a real Fisher shirt. Like
breathable, but I can.
You know how like those outdoor shirts like designed for fishing have like the flap at the back, for air and whatnot. That's kind of what that shirt feels like. It is nice.
The lack of an upper button is leaving me a little scandalous this morning. But I could wear this to a bank meeting, right? Like if I had, nobody's gonna. Sir, you're a little too casual, or I'm not underdressed or too overdressed. I think this is a nice,
perfect.
Just
It's
like my
buttoned
BMI. I'm kind of right in that zone, eh?
Well, I'll tell you what. If you like Eric's fit today and you like what you've heard, smash that like button, right? We got to get those numbers up. These are rookie numbers.
Yeah, this is very paltry here. What are we sitting at, a 130? I mean, I'm not. And I know Trev. I was like, I hate getting on my knees and begging for this. Like, people will like it if they want. I don't want to force people to do anything.
I think it's a simple reminder.
A simple reminder is fine. But 138. I mean,
but it really does help. It helps to.
Well, no, it
get
helps
everything that we do here out. And
I think it puts it in more people's eyes the more continual you have that support, and those likes do mean something.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm out here working for the likes.
Hell yeah.
I got this shirt on for the likes. I got my hair. It's all for the likes.
He put the hair back today.
But I ain't begging. I ain't panhandling for these likes.
Nope.
I like
LTE.
An extra like, please. Any likes to spare?
LTE don't beg for nobody.
I ain't begging. We're here to perform for you, and that's what we're trying to do. But I got beef right now, courtesy Corey the Butcher and Acme Meat Market. You can check them out. Great little shop. Corey's an outstanding dude as well. As I don't know when he's off to Paris for the meat cutting games, but I know that's on the horizon as well. Eat fresh, eat local, eat Acme. Acme Meats, serving Edmonton for over 100 years. 100 years. They were around when the Leafs last beat the Bruins in a playoff series. 100 years. You can check them out, 9570 76th Avenue. Once again, nestled in that Ritchie Market. Nice coffee shop in there. I do believe a bar. You can get a little drink if you like as well. So very nice place in there. So I got beef right now, courtesy Corey the Butcher and Acme Meats. Boys, I'm going to pass it over to you. What are the beefs? I know Zach Dickham had a beef.
Yeah, Zach.
From last night. You were out on the town, Zach? Were you?
Yeah, I was. You know, I went to a movie yesterday. It was a fantastic movie, actually, Monkey Man. But I was there. You know, you got to get your snacks when you're watching a movie, right? It kind of goes hand in hand. If you don't have popcorn or whatever you got, what are you doing when you're at a movie? But I went to go buy some popcorn, and, you know, you got to get butter on it. You can't get popcorn really without butter, especially when you're at a movie theater. You know, you got to get the extra flavor in there, and it adds to it. Yeah. You only live once, so you got to get some butter on there. And I got the large Coke, and they ask, do you want extra butter for $2.50? Yeah, let me get that extra butter. I want some extra butter. But then I get that butter, and I have to go grab a straw from the table, and there's popcorn topping right there. There's butter right there. Why did they charge me extra? I got beef with that.
Did you return to the counter and say, hey, you know, what kind of operation you're running here?
No, I mean, it's not the workers' fault. They got to ask for that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go.
Front line.
It's $2.50. It's $2.50, but it's something that I could have, parlayed.
Well, you got
today
the EST
on
bucks now too, so you're.
Yeah, now I'm making them. Now I'm making the big
whatever.
bucks. Yeah.
But it's a good point. Have
Right,
you
why
used those
charge?
butter dispensers before though, like the
The pump
Yeah.
ones
Is
where
it- is
it's
it-
like you can self-serve ketchup, but it's butter.
Yeah, like is that good? Would you rather pay the $2.50 for a pro doing it behind the counter, or you doing it your own?
Hell no, I'd
And
rather do it
that thing's
myself.
Maybe it's empty. Maybe it's bad butter. Maybe it's like you don't know, do you?
Okay, Zacticum, I have a question here. Okay,
right.
and I'm not trying to poke holes in your theory. I think it's outrageous that you would ask more money, but was it for extra butter? As in, this popcorn had already been buttered to industry standards. Was the $2.50 for a gluttonous amount of butter?
It might have been the second option, but I could have stood at the dispenser and got it all myself. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it wasn't. People in the nasty chat are saying,
Yeah.
does Zach think margarine is butter?
Oh,
Fury Wood
boy.
says that, but I don't know if that was margarine. It didn't say it wasn't.
It's not margarine.
didn't
I
say it
hope
was.
it's not margarine.
Well, Surveyor Brett
Margin,
is
no.
always a North Star. They got the good butter behind the counter, Zach. And I assume he's speaking from experience. Dean Belanger says because that isn't butter, it's flavored oil. $2.50 now. That's insane. So you got to think they keep the good stuff, sealed
keep it
away.
locked
It's
up,
the
yeah,
good
you ca-
stuff, right? And
You got to buy it over the counter.
if you
though,
want
yeah.
some hot, warm oil, out of the machine, have at it for free.
Wes in Spruce is in on the Paris Jewelers inbox. The topping at the straw table isn't butter. It's margarine or some such thing.
Some such thing.
Some such.
I like
What is
that.
margarine really?
Oh,
I
well,
mean, it
that's
is
true,
some
yeah.
such thing.
Some sort of scientific experiment there in liquid form.
Problem for the pump butter is it only covers the top portion of the popcorn.
I did get it
Great.
layered. Maybe that
That helps.
$2.50 is a layer.
Oh,
See?
I think you're paying. I think you're paying up for the real butter plus the action of them layering it. That's. It's like going to a mechanic, right? The labor.
right.
There's probably
And-
$1 in that $2.50.
Well, you're
that's
right.
the
You
labor.
get to pump, mix, then they get the more butter.
Yeah,
Pump,
$1.50 for the
mix,
real
mix.
butter, $1 for the labor, and that's how you're
Now
having
the
your-
real value, and I don't go to that many movies, but when I do, that sprinkle that you can get, the seasonings.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
You like a little spice, do you?
I like a little dill pickle.
Ooh.
Maybe a little salt and vin. Maybe get a little crazy. Go with the ketchup.
Ketchup
Oh yeah,
in the popcorn?
yeah.
Well,
not
not-
like
Oh, I was like,
ketchup,
okay,
but the
okay, I
sprinkle
was
on.
like,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
wait.
yeah. That's,
Oh, yeah.
that's
I was like, wait a second. Hold on. Let's,
yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna change
a little bit of splash of Frank's Red I may suggest as well if you're at home with a bag some night. But you ever tried maybe bringing your own condiments in, like a little stick of butter, the good stuff, in your pocket, and you just kind of
in your knife
you put
case.
it in your
Yeah.
waistband. Your body temperature will it'll be nice and warm and somewhat melted by the time you get to your seat.
I don't know if that's a crime. I know it's not confessions, but I might have smuggled some condiments or something rather into the movie theater to.
You're
keep some
talking
extra.
about alcohol, aren't you?
Nope.
You've never brought a Slurpee full of rum into a movie theater?
Not once.
Mickey
I didn't even think about
Mickey
it.
a polar ice? No.
No. Not even
in the
Everclear.
waistband?
No.
Too easy. I'm not saying I have, but I'm just surprised you haven't.
Yeah, people are all over this. Roger, pretty sure they call it butter flavoring, which means mystery sauce. And whenever you hear the term flavoring included, I'm sure that's kind of in the. Well, so Zach, do you feel like you had the beef with that? Do you think the beef has been quashed, like settled now? People have.
Yeah, the beef has been settled. It's been cooked and left to the side to to just
A nice
air out,
medium
right?
rare.
Yeah.
What do you? So next time you go to a movie, what are you doing? What's the
I gotta pay for that extra.
'Cause you liked it.
extra
You
butter.
didn't hate
I
it.
loved
You-
it.
yeah,
I loved it, but I was kind of shocked, and me and my friend were there. I was like, why do we both have to charge for this? And we both thought the same thing. We didn't know it was some chemically produced oils or what have you, but butter is better.
Butter is better. That's
Butter
I
is
think.
better.
What did we learn on the show today?
Butter is better.
What did you have a beef here, Jay?
Well, mine's obviously not as contentious as this, but I had to travel last weekend, and I was.
Where were you?
Yeah,
You
well,
were in some weird. You were. I thought you were.
I
going
had to go down to
school or
North
something.
Carolina.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So it's like a milk run to get down there.
Yeah.
So I went through Minneapolis, Atlanta, and then I got to Greensboro, and then I came back from Greensboro through Atlanta, through LA, back to Edmonton. And the reason I say this is because anything that I've ever seen that happens in the U.S., it's usually just a matter of time till it crosses the border and migrates up this way. But, you know, if you say you have a layover for a couple hours, you want to go get some lunch, maybe have a beer, something like that.
Yep.
Every bar or restaurant in the airports, didn't matter if it was Atlanta, Minneapolis, LA, everything was touchless bar service. Like you had to, and I get it, you scan the QR code, get your menu. Okay, that's not totally, I'm not dumbfounded by that. But this was everything. I sat at the Wood because I was by myself. Right, so I'm not going to sit at a table. I want to sit at the bar.
That's awesome.
Talk to a
Traveling
bartender.
alone at the you're a nomad. You talk to another nomad. I love that.
We're all wanderers together.
Yeah.
And I was sitting at this bar in the Minneapolis airport, and I went up and I said, "Hey, I'll have a whatever," and he said, "Sorry, you got to order it through," and he's standing as far from you away, and I said, "Okay." Okay, sure. So I thought you just have to get the menu and select. No.
Oh,
you
had
have
to
to
create
put
a
in your
profile?
profile, your name, your freaking address, your payment information, your Visa card, everything just to get. I got beer and chicken wings. Like that was such a. So.
And they got your SIN number.
Wow, they got
At the end of the
everything.
day. Yeah.
They might have the keys to my house by now. I don't know. But that's. I was just outraged. Like, and so I spoke with this guy. And I said, "Man, this must kill you." And he says, they used to do $140,000 a day out of this location, which it was a standout location. Like it was nice. I actually put a picture on my Twitter. I did airport reviews for those wondering.
Very nice.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful bar. And now they do $70,000 a day. He says 2 or 3 out of every it's almost 50% people that come up, do their thing, and walk right away.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of.
Right.
I again, the QR, I think we all, and that's fine. There's a line, but when you got a human standing there, hey Johnny, I'd like to cut out the middle machine here and just give you the cash in hand, and you can give me the drink. What's the problem?
And you know what? And this is why I got beef. This is that I can deal with, right? And it's egregious. I get it, but you know what? Desperate times call for desperate measure. I needed chicken wings, and I really wanted a beer. What you said, when you're alone, you're nomadic, you're traveling, you want to talk to somebody, you want to say, "Hey, are you a Vikings fan? Are you a Twins fan?"
Tending bar at an airport must be the most fascinating bar to
Yeah,
tend,
I want to
'cause
get the
you're-
lowdown
yeah.
on Minnesota. This guy had zero interest in talking to me. Guess why? Because I'm not going to pay him with cash as a tip. I'm going to tip him off of this app, of which he's now got to go claim that on his
He has to
on
do
his
work now to
income.
do that. Yeah.
So whereas in the good old days, you'd get a cash tip, and you'd walk home from a night of bartending with
Counting them up.
$50 to $100,
Yeah.
maybe a good night over $100 of cash in your pocket. Now this all goes on a statement, on a paycheck, and it's all taxed. So he was grumpy as you know what. I don't blame him, but it took away that conversational aspect of sitting at a bar in an airport and just wanting to shoot the breeze. I got beef. That's my beef.
There's a sadness from that. And I don't know, again, I think Zach can kind of, get past his beef. I think we've kind of learned. I don't know if you're getting over this one. And I think that the way the world's going, you're gonna have more of this. Like you're gonna eventually, Jay. You're not even gonna be able to travel. You can travel in your mind. You can put on a pair of goggles, and then you can go wherever you want. You don't even need to physically go on these trips and physically sit at these bars.
That might be the last traveling I ever do.
Now, is this a business trip, leisure? You were at a college?
Yeah, business.
We'll
Yeah.
leave it at that. I don't know.
No, it's the world's biggest furniture show that happens down in High Point, North Carolina.
So what? You show up?
Yeah.
It's an expo.
Yeah.
They have booths.
No, it's a city that is literally built for furniture. I'm not kidding. Like
what are you talking about?
Like you say you go to downtown Edmonton,
yeah,
and all these buildings, and maybe not as high as the high rises in Edmonton, but let's say 6, 7, 8-story buildings everywhere.
Okay,
they're not office buildings. They're Ashley Furniture or Cosmos Furniture.
The whole town is just furniture buildings.
Yes.
So if I be like, I'm a little hungry, I need to get something to eat. Oh, you can't because it's all furniture.
No, if you want
Like
furniture, you go there.
No, like so.
And it's only
What's this place called?
High Point, North Carolina.
Is it like a? Here it is, High Point Furniture Market. First thing that pops up.
Yeah, it should be.
City, North Carolina. Okay, and then next to on the map, world's largest chest of drawers.
I saw it. It's literally it's a chest of drawers that's like 4 stories high.
Well, this
Some would call it a bureau.
We'll transition to the next segment here just prior to 8 o'clock. I says pardon. Because I was following along on social media. I was like, where is he going? Because given our day-to-day, I see him maybe once a week. He'll come in and hang out, we'll slap hands or whatever, but not in-depth conversation. Oh, Jay's traveling. He's in this airport. He's in that airport. Oh, he must be a wedding or something or some sort of big thing. And then you were on some sort of campus there and you're walking around. I'm like, this is weird, and I'll talk to him when he gets back. But never in my dreams or nightmares did I imagine that you were in a city that it's furniture, like it's all furniture. Again,
to be honest, it was a meeting. It was one meeting that I had to go down there for that put Yvonne's furniture into closure and maybe something else on the burner.
So they're familiar with Yvonne's down there. That's
we roll
talks.
big. Exactly.
Man.
So it was one meeting. But it was a milk run to get down there, so I traveled all day Friday, had the meeting on Saturday, and then by Saturday at 3 o'clock, I was done. So I went to High Point University, which is the nicest university I've ever come across in my life. It's a private gated university.
Yeah.
The Uber driver that had to take me there had to leave his ID at the front desk, or at the gate, to drop me off.
I didn't see like Phi Beta Gamma frat house with the beer bongs and everything like
no
that type of thing.
No, it's just unbelievable.
High Point, North Carolina. Listen, the next time you have to go down there, or whatever, let me know. We'll do a roadie. Like I'll drive down. Avoid the milk run. We'll drive down. We'll see the states. We'll take pictures and.
Well, then I won't have to talk to the bartenders that don't want to talk to me because they're not getting because they're miserable. They're miserable with their jobs.
I'll talk to you the whole trip, and you don't got to pay me a dime. If you want, just
sign me up.
Offering the service there. I says pardon. It's for lawyer-central.com. Get a clean slate for an affordable rate. So if you want to check out the High Point, North Carolina, and you can't cross the border at this time, lawyer-central.com/pardon. Get a clean slate, affordable rate, and you could be joining us down at High Point, North Carolina. Myself and Jay. Everybody makes stupid mistakes. If you're still paying for it, you don't have to. Visit lawyer-central.com/pardons or give them a call, 1-888-288-8177 to find out more about getting a pardon. They have lawyers nationwide, coast to coast to coast around Canada. Lawyer-central.com/pardons. Zach Gim, I know you had a big beef there with the movie theater butter, margarine, oil, whatever it is. Anything that makes you say, I says pardon from last night at the movies or sports in general?
Well, what the story about just in general, all the gambling stories that have came up recently, of course, Shohei Ohtani, and then the most recent one with that Raptors forward,
Jonte
Porter.
Yeah.
But just realizing how really, business run sports is and how people bet on themselves quite figuratively and literally, which is pretty insane to me. And I just want to say, I says pardon?
We were talking off the air prior to the show this morning. And the innocence of Zacticum I love it.
Pure.
I'm getting a high off it every single day. It's great.
Give me more of that.
The learning about the money and making the world go around is it's a tough lesson to learn. One that I'm still learning, I think. We all are, right? You never fully. It always jumps up and bites you in the ass when you think you've forgotten about it. But it's It's all about the Benjamins,
You
man.
know, if you want to say I says pardon, do you expect these national leagues, the NHL, the NBA, the NFL, to go ahead and all in promote gambling, sports gambling, and not expect to have some of your players go ahead and try and find a way around it? I says pardon. Of course they will. And there's several more doing it. There's tons of players that are doing this. I guarantee it. They're just not caught yet.
Well,
Right?
there's always fishy things going on around like the world of sports, just behind the scenes and everything like that. Like bringing up the fact, like, okay, I want to go back to the Ottawa Senators forward Shane Pinto when he was suspended for over half of the season for betting. Their sponsor is quite literally Bet99. It's pretty funny because he had to go back and he was wearing the helmets with all that stuff. But
I think
it's
the cool bit
ridiculous.
too, like responsibly, stay cool, all that. And I think in like Porter, you can't you can't do it so close to home. You can't do it so close to your team.
Well-
you can't bet on yourself. Like Jonte Porter, like I'm sorry, man, you can't be that daft. You can't be that obscene. Like to not think that somebody's. Now, if you're going to put a loony on, the Stanley Cup final, you're Jonte Porter. I don't think nobody's raising an eyebrow. Nobody's going to look into that.
And
But you got to be smart about it.
Did you see like his winnings from it? Because obviously he won. There was one game where it's like Jonte Porter bet
The under on
a
him?
huge
Like,
bet, an under on him on
Yeah.
shots or something like that, and he left the game with a foot injury, of
Yeah.
which nobody could ever
You-
find any history of or any video proof of. He just had to leave the game, but. I don't know the exact numbers, so don't quote me. But it was something like he bet 40,000 and he gained like 60. Like
He bet against himself, as VR Montenegro
But this
says.
person is making NBA money. What are you doing?
Albeit on probably the lower end, but you're right. More than us.
the lower end
three
of NBA
combined
money is pretty
in
damn
this
good.
room, absolutely. I mean, he's in a different tax bracket already, regardless of the bets. It's a funny thing because TV Burkle also chimes in. I got beef with media figures taking the strap to Porter when everywhere he looks in his daily life is all about betting. And to your point, Zach, I realize that. You can't do it regarding your team. You can't I'm not encouraging it from athletes, but I think there are ways you can do it, and I'm sure there are athletes doing it today that are doing it smart and doing it through channels where there's ways to rob a bank. You can do it without getting caught, or you
100%.
can do it dumb and get caught. So, for an individual like him putting those bets down, I don't know, man. Like I'm not going to throw the book at you and get on my high horse and you shouldn't be. Of course it is. It's all around. And to the point again with money ruling the world, I mean, sports betting is a big thing in sports, and everywhere you look, that cash is in hand with supporting the team or the league or whatever it is. So I'm certainly not sitting on a high horse this morning, condemning.
But
him.
you agree that-
there's ways to do this without getting caught. I'd say
You would agree that the optics of it,
it's terrible.
when you're looking at
terrible.
these leagues that are literally bringing in hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of dollars in revenue, advertising revenue from these massive betting operations, to now turn around and say you can't even bet on, like, if you're a professional athlete, you can't even walk into a casino when you're in that town.
Well, NFL officials during Super Bowl weren't allowed. Like, if you're working for the NFL, if your job is to make sure that all the buttons on Roger Goodell's suit jacket are on there, you still can't. You couldn't pass through. You couldn't use a bathroom in a casino, for crying out loud. But I mean, and this RJ says Shane Pinto didn't even bet on hockey though. He bet on other sports, got suspended. Once again, the NHL just makes weird decisions, and that's where if you're a hockey player and it's late July, early August, and you want to throw down something on a baseball game, I don't know. It's just be smart about it. Or I mean, the NHL is the NHL, and they'll make weird decisions. But this whole not allowing people in a casino when you've got, and every day you see it on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, memes of, people talking about the story, the Porter story, the Ohtani story, whatever, and then in the background is a big billboard for bet whatever. Like it's all very memeable and it's all very in your face and obvious. But
Is it ironic? Is that the right word, or is that an oxymoron?
it might be. I'm not too sure. But that's I get what you're
In that
putting
same
down there,
realm,
yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny.
780-218-9999. If you have any I says pardons or I got beefs, send them in. We'd be glad to read them out here over the next few minutes. But 8 o'clock, I guess we can head to a sports update. We got the final and third hour of the show to come. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's. That'll be coming up next. So if you want to play trivia, look, I ain't asking the questions today, which, again, they were all Oilers questions yesterday. I was surprised, and people were saying, no, that's for shame. But Jason Milne will have the questions today for Kind of Easy Trivia. I think we got a winner in here somewhere. So if you want to play, kindly text in 780-218-9999. Say, I want to play, or say something for Zach to pick you. Maybe be a little nice. Say something in there for Zach. Maybe, have yourself out there, dangle yourself out there like a carrot in front of Zach's nose, and he might pick you. But 780-218-9999, the number to text for trivia. $25 on the way to Mr. Mike's. That'll be on the line. We'll have 3 questions too many as well, brought to you by Park Mazda. That's ahead of the Vegas keyword. Hoping to do that around 8:20, so be by your phones for the keyword. A trip to Vegas, courtesy Fly YEG at 8:20. Tim Hauraney will pop by, albeit briefly, at 8:30, brought to you by Claiborne Services. Taking a quick look at the Chinese Grand Prix this weekend and a little recap on Japan from last. We'll then head into an orange and blue breakfast. Oilers and Avalanche tonight. Not too much to discuss, but we'd gladly take your thoughts, questions, and concerns. 780-218-9999. And that's ahead of the wrap. That'll be your third hour. So jam-packed final hour of the show, but we'll do a sports update first, courtesy J. Mill.
The Oilers played what could be the final game in Phoenix, at least for the time being, as they fall 5-2 to the Coyotes. Sam Carrick and Warren Fogle filled the net for your hometown squad. But tonight is some scoreboard watching, as the Oilers will have their first round opponent revealed as the Ducks face off against the Golden Knights and the Blackhawks face off against the Kings. Both of these games will determine the Western Conference playoff picture. The GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame is live on location at Hudson's White Avenue with Tom Gazzola and the entire EST crew for a listener party. Come down, watch the Oilers take on the Avs, and get some of those world-famous chicken wings. If you can't make it down, not to worry, as the pregame starts right here at 6 p.m. on Edmonton Sports Talk. And don't forget that the Oil Stream pre- and post show presented by GCL Diesel will be live on location at Hudson's for the entire postseason run. Last night in the major leagues, Aaron Judge hit a 2-run single in the ninth to snap a 4-4 tie as the Yankees went on to avoid their first season sweep of the season. Next up for Toronto is a visit to San Diego, where that series will start Friday night. In the NBA, Joel Embiid showed why Philadelphia could definitely make a run in the postseason as he chipped in 23 points and 15 rebounds as the 76ers secure the 7 seed and will face the Knicks in round 1 action. In other action, the Bulls clipped the Hawks, which means they will face off against the Heat with the winner securing the number 8 seed. And as we were just alluding to, Raptors forward Jonte Porter has been banned from the NBA for violating the league's gaming rules, in part by placing bets on NBA games he was involved in through an associate's account. Yikes. Game 4 of the AHL Championship went last night, and the Calgary Canucks are your 2024 Interpipeline champions as they defeat Whitecourt 4-3 last night in Cowtown. This sports update was brought to you by Claiborne Services. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeymen, bricklayers, and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Visit ClaiborneServices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728.
Step closer to the hollow, the devil may care. If I showed you around my heart, would you mind if I shared to show you what's wrong with me? I will not change it. I will wait patiently while you get painted out. Let me into your untainted tribe to be the one who gets to live a lie. Oh, let me lie with you. I'll be a perfect stranger. I wanna be that stupid boy that you don't talk about. You better believe there's a sharp knife beside my bed. You better believe
Flawless, seamless. 8:05 here on the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Lieutenant Eric in, Jay Milne in for Dustin Nielsen as well, and Zach to come behind the monitors this morning, taking you through on a Thursday, a game day, the final regular season game of the season for the Oilers as they're in Colorado, rounding out the schedule against the Avalanche tonight. And we'll get you set for that as best as we can later on in this hour. We'll also have the Vegas keyword coming up at around 8:20. We got 3 questions too many on the way, kind of easy trivia as well, which we'll get into right now. But if you have anything you'd like to discuss, Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999 is the number. We still got $20 to A&W on the line for text of the day, so get involved and you might be a winner. And the Nasty Chat bumping along as well. And what are we looking at here? Hit the like, hit the subscribe as well. Once again, I said I wouldn't beg, but we're at 192. We can easily get that over 200 and maybe a flirtation with 250 or maybe even the big 300 by the end of the show. Who knows? Who's to say, right? But set the bar, hit the like, hit the sub, and do whatever you got to do to consume the EST stuff for today. Once again, the Hangout coming up as well, 9 to 11. Lock Shop after that. And we round out with an episode of 2 Guys and a Goalie. But I guess it's time for a little kind of easy trivia. Without any further ado, Zach, we got a lot of people texting you wanted to play. Who'd you select? A few people had some interesting notes in there just kind of stand out to you. But who did you end up picking?
I got Chris. Chris on the line.
Chris with a K?
With a C.
A C?
C-H.
C-H. Chris, can you hear us? How you doing, man?
I can. Good morning.
Great. Good morning. Have you played before?
I have.
Love it. Love it. And a big winner. What's your percentage? Are you like 3-0 or something, or just once?
I 2 or 3. Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. Well,
no Roseanne bar so far.
No Roseanne. I love it. And I don't think that's going to continue today. I hope not. Anyways, $25 to Mr. Mike's is on the line. A great little lunch for you today. Of course, they got the 6 o'clocker lager there as well. But you know how we do, Chris. A little different today, though. I'll play the ticker after Jay reads the first question. You need 3 out of 5. And if you get it, we'll be giving you a Club Beat Loop remix from the vault. So if you're ready to go, Jay will ask the question. I'll start the ticker. Good to go, Chris?
Let's do it.
Jay?
Yes or no, the Oilers have secured home advantage for round 1 of the playoffs?
Yes.
Did Sam Carrick score last night?
Yes.
Who do the Oilers play tonight?
Colorado.
Where are the Phoenix, Arizona Coyotes reportedly moving to?
Salt Lake City.
Did Austin Matthews score his 70th goal last night?
He did not.
Yeah. Chris is off to Mr. Mike's. $25. Come and get it, Chris.
Who told you to put the cheese on?
I have not viewed my pool standings yet.
Really?
Certainly had a lot of work to do. There's a drive toward deep left center.
I check mine throughout the night. I like to see whose ass I am kicking.
Connoisseur has just hit the ball out of the park.
Every time the alarm rings at my house, I know when I turn the alarm off, there's 29 teams trying to beat my brains in.
We have 2 types of fans. We have paying customers.
Killer performance.
And we have people that watch the game that we still care about, but certainly the people that go to the games and support are, that's a joke.
Did I tell you to put the cheese on?
That's a joke.
I didn't tell you to put the cheese on. That's a joke. You people with the cheese. It never ends.
He won the Australian Masters just 5 months ago in November and won the gold coat.
Pissing me off right now. Just thinking about it. So.
There it is! Adam Scott!
Yippee, we got 2 points. That was my first thought.
A life changer.
Unbelievable magical moment. He is now officially the Wizard of Oz.
There you have it, Chris, unlocking a Club Beat Loop remix from the vault. Congratulations, he is off to Mr. Mike's. $25 richer in Mr. Mike's units this morning. Your next chance at that is coming up tomorrow. Joaquin Gage will be alongside me for the Friday show and the Friday edition of Kinda Easy Trivia, brought to you by Mr. Mike's. Nasty Chat, once again, get in there, give us a like, give us a sub. Let's get going on those numbers. And if you have any questions as well for 3 questions too many, I got a few. But as I always like to do with guests in here, whether it's Gazzola or Gage or yourself, Jay, questions for the guest here. It's always nice to kind of get into their lives. And I think you all know enough about me and my boring life. But if you have anything that you'd want to know from Jay, feel free to get them in via the Nasty Chat or on the text line, 780-218-9999. Your boy Baron asks, is Chris okay? Yeah, I think sometimes you brought on the phone and the bright lights and everything, and but he got the win. I mean, that's all that matters in the grand scheme. And great job on the questions.
Well, we all heard yesterday's questions, and some would say, not me, but some would say in the nasty chat and in the Paris Jewelers inbox that it was maybe a little bit too hard.
It was Oilers stuff. I mean, I'm going Oilers. I'm going to give the people what they want, for crying out loud.
So, we kind of talked about it after and joked around it, and Eric said, well, fine, glue guy, you do it yourself tomorrow. So I decided to take it on. And Fergie, I'm sorry. I know. I'm just, I'm new here. I'm trying to learn the door slam.
Well,
I know that
I think you hit it perfectly. You, Dustin, whatever. I wouldn't, if I had my eyes closed, I would think it's
just, you don't want to upset Fergie.
Oh, you certainly do not. No.
He's the king of St. Albert Rugby Club. He's the king of jerky. He's the king of many things.
He gets around, and he was also very spry as well. If you wanted to head down to Corey the Butcher and Acme Meats, they open at 10. I do believe he had the opening time in the nasty chat. So Fergie's got his finger on the pulse here in terms of everything else that's happening behind the scenes. But 780-218-9999. Once again, I said if you have any questions for Jay specifically, but we'll get into 3 questions too many. It's brought to you, as always, by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who really enjoyed his time watching the Coyotes' final game of their existence last night, as he had a staff viewing down at the dealership. You can check them out in Sherwood Park or online, parkmazda.ca, your dealer for life. You can find me on Twitter at Lieutenant_Eric, on Instagram as well, at Lasagna Enthusiast, and give our station accounts a like and a follow as well. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter at YEG Sports Talk. We are on Instagram as well, Edmonton Sports Talk. I think our TikTok account is still up. I don't think it's been taken down yet for any lewd, crude behavior or posting. Zach Tim's saying no. You can confirm on this.
No, we've been posting. No,
okay,
I've
so
been
we're still up on
posting
there.
that,
So the TikTok, the Facebook, the Gram, the Twitter, the whole, or X, whatever you so prefer. Give us a like, give us a follow, and be up to date on all the goings on, because it's going to get a little busy here. Playoffs, of course, we've got GCL Diesel on board for the pre and post games that Tommy will be hosting every playoff game down at a Hudson's, whether it's White or West Ed. So this is going to be fun. You want to be aware. You want to know what's going on. Follow the proper people. But where can we follow you, J Milne, on the internet? Instagram, Twitter, and whatever.
They're both the same, because it definitely ages me, because I got in early, but it's just at Jason Milne.
Perfect.
At Jason Milne Milne. You can follow me there. And I got to say about those the fellas over at GCL Diesel, awesome dudes. They're actually right around here. Diesel
in the hood with us.
In the hood. And maybe they can come over to our parking lot party.
We need to keep building this more.
We do. We can't stop talking about it.
You mentioned you got a pizza oven. I think there are a few festivities as well. Maybe we could have down there. But yeah, sometime in the summer, just a random day.
Yeah.
Have the boys from the spa over, and we just have a
outdoor spas
cookout. It's got to be really hot too. Yeah.
Maybe they could because GCL Diesel. That's Diesel understood. These guys know everything diesel. Okay. So maybe they could have like a turbo off or something. We could have so you has the loudest turbo or the fastest, diesel going. I don't know, something like that.
Start up a few generators.
Yeah.
So we could just let them run, in the parking lot.
Yeah, just fire them up.
Maybe a dunk tank.
Yes.
Everybody needs a dunk tank for one of those goings on.
I'm down with that.
Then if you need a little libation, you pop up here to ESTHQ and
go see what the old
cool
beer
down
fridge.
a bit, see the beer fridge, and head back down to the parking lot. I think we can make this happen, both legally and everything else. So I look forward to that, Jay. But Jason Milne, no excuse not to follow him on the internet and all these social media apps, because it's very simple and easy. So question number 1, and I'll include you in this as well. But in terms of the Coyotes moving, and I know this has been bandied about online, and everybody's had their say, but what's the Salt Lake City team name? Not maybe I'm not trying to gaze in your crystal ball and tell me this isn't a right or wrong answer, but I guess opinion. What would you want to see the name be? What would you call it if you're calling the shots? The Salt Lake City blank. Animal? Is it a feeling? Like,
well, I don't know why. I guess I've seen this come up on Twitter, I think, or X is whatever you want to call it, but somebody was doing Salt Lake Sting or Stingers or something like that.
Stingers?
I'm not a fan, and the logo that they had come up with was purple and gold.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like those colors. Those
Yeah,
are nice colors. The royal colors. I guess
like
you could go.
the old LA Kings.
That's what I'm
kinda
thinking.
thing, right?
Exactly what popped into my mind too. I love those colors. They complement each other well. But the Sting's not bad. I like
Nothing against the
Yetis,
Stingers in our
but-
basketball team that we call our team here, the Edmonton Stingers. Great brand, great logo. You got the hive that they play out of. I mean, the
Stingers. Yeah,
Stingers are great. But NHL Salt Lake City Stingers, I just kind of it doesn't hit.
No, I
Sting?
agree.
I'd rather Stingers than
Sting. You'd rather have Stingers than Sting?
I like my team names kind of ending with that S.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Y, whenever you're kind of trying to get a feeling or like an action, teams like the Impact or the Intense or the whatever it is. It doesn't really hit with me, but
I feel like this, like the Sting or Stingers would fit really well. It's a nice name. What would they just have a B as their logo? Like what kind of bee? I think about it. Isn't the lightning? Well, I guess that's a lightning
wasp.
bug. Yeah, it would be a wasp
or hornet, a yellow jacket.
The yellow jackets.
Georgia Tech already.
There's already a blue jackets.
State animals for Utah: the Bonneville cutthroat trout, the western honeybee. So maybe that's where the Sting comes from. The Gila monster. I think that's a little too close to maybe the Coyotes and where they used to play out of. Preble's shrew. I don't know if shrew would either be a kid fox. I'm seeing here. Like you're not looking at like top of the food chain predatory animals roaming around a lot. I mean, I'm sure they have a cougar or two down in the state, right? A bear?
Salt Lake Seagulls?
I'm here for the seagulls.
I'd rather have the Sting or the Stingers, but
give me a mean looking seagull. I'm thinking of the Miami Hurricanes, right? Like that bird. I want it smoking a cigarette, like a thing, and like a jaunty cap on, like a Peaky Blinders cap.
We're in Utah. There will be no smoking of
forgot.
anything.
Yeah.
Seagull in a suit. In a nice black suit. Knocking on a door.
Right.
The action of knocking on a door.
With a white undershirt on?
With a white undershirt on and a little tag that says the seagull's name or whatever. That may be the mascot. That'd be great for the mascot. Two guys walking around.
The Book of Mormon.
Yeah, can we interest
crew?
you into this? No. Oh, that's okay. We're just the mascots. Salt Lake City Salties, that comes in from Rams fan. Gila Monster is the Vegas mascot, yes. And I do like their mascot. And Gila River Arena or Walking Stick or whatever. I think the Coyotes played at one of those. I can't even keep track anymore. Salt Lake City Mustangs.
I like the Mustangs.
That's it. And I think, too, in terms of a name, it's the Mustang. Like that Salt Lake City, you got the 3 count Mustangs. I kind of like how that flows.
Now, would it be Utah Mustangs? Because would they go by Salt Lake City or Utah? Because Salt Lake City is very long. Salt Lake City, I mean...
Do we know that yet? Is that official yet? Are they going state or city? Will it be?
Somebody on the nasty chat here that they heard it was Utah.
I am here for both. Utah Buzz goes along great with the Jazz. Comes in from KC.
That would be nice.
Now, if you did go Utah, the Sting would sound better than the Stingers, right?
Utah Sting? Yeah. Just how it sounds. You
just
say it,
phonetically.
you speak it. Yeah,
but if it was a full city name, it would be Stingers, Salt Lake City Stingers.
Boom. Yes.
That's
yeah.
where I roll off the
I think
tongue.
okay. So
we've established.
Don't mind me. Yeah. Take the SLC out of the conversation here. We're not talking Salt Lake. We're talking the great state of Utah. 3 million people, as Simple 101 says. 15 households. Send that in as a text. You might be walking out of here with the $20 to A&W. But, okay, Utah, I guess the question. Question 2 in 3 questions to Minnie. What would you call them if it's a Utah? State name. Utah what? Sting?
Sting.
That's it.
Well, Jaunty in the Paris Jewelers inbox came in with a decent one, actually. Encompassing, there's been obviously a lot of...
This is funny.
There's a lot of Mormon talk here, obviously, as Utah is...
We jest.
Yeah, obviously. But this one might tie it together actually in a very appropriate way. The Utah Saints. Huh?
I really love that. A little fleur-de-lis as your logo.
Yeah.
Hey, why not? It ties in. I mean, it's...
Sure. I don't mind it.
I'm here for it. Just like the Jazz, exactly. It makes total sense,
Big
right?
Maple. I like this. This just came in on the nasty chat. Utah Rocks.
Utah Rocks. He also said Utah Mountain Men.
Yeah. The Utah Rocks.
I'm going to say a word and a name that's been... I've seen the most, actually, and it refers to the Utah Yetis.
Yeah.
Where that? There seems to be a lot of buzz around that.
I like the Buzz, and I like the Yetis. Those
do?
are my top two.
Yeah.
Yep.
Utah Grizzlies from Big Dave.
And Fish Tank says Utah stink. And maybe we'll just wrap it up from there. Utah Yetis, though, that's got something there. You could cook with that. You could get a good mascot. You get a hell of a logo. You could, that's got some power there, I think.
Gus is in Utah Sister Wives.
We're going here. We're going. Jamie, Salt Lake City Moondogs.
The Moondogs.
There's a tie in there. They cannot follow up Golden Knights and the Kraken with Seagulls. Vegas and Seattle both nailed it. Don't go backwards. I will say that those two franchises, I love the branding of both.
They did well.
Hit them on the head. Logos, names, the whole bit, the color scheme and everything. Loving it. That's why these things are so fun to discuss, because it's just what could it be? And you hope, and we talk about the NHL so much and dropping the ball. Any game they're playing, they always drop the ball, whether it's PR or whether it's stuff on the ice, off the ice, or whatever. But I think with Vegas and Seattle, and again, maybe not a full league oversee on those. Those are owners and everything. But I am hoping this third team gets a good bump with a good branding as well.
Ooh, what about this? Salt Lake Swarm.
Salt Lake Swarm. See, but those action words, I just don't like. It's just
you know what? But
so
like you
roller
said,
jammed
the
to me,
Kraken, the Golden Knights, those are good. And they're appropriate.
Unique for the place they're at. I mean but it takes time too. And it Golden Knights, when we first started, Golden Knights like that, really, why can't you just call them Vegas Knights?
I always thought they should have been called the Aces. That was my name.
They got the ball or the basketball or whatever. Don't they have a AAA or something?
I think that's why they didn't do it. Yeah, there was another team name that they couldn't really, take. But man, see the Swarm kind of it's odd, but that one would work too. Swarm, Buzz, Yetis, keep them coming.
Chris with the case says Ryan Smith will need to get the naming rights for my son's U15 ball hockey team. Go Yetis. Well, we'll leave it at that. And I'm going to flex out of the third question because it's 8:22. And you know what that means. It means we're 2 minutes past the date that I promised. The Vegas keyword, the time for the Vegas keyword, it is now, right now. And it'll be 4 times a day as well, this being the first. But your chance to win a trip to Vegas. 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodation, and tickets for a Cirque du Soleil show presented by Fly YEG and the LVCVA. Nonstop flights to over 50 destinations. Your sports trip starts with a nonstop flight from Fly YEG. Visit www.flyyeg.com for more. And love dealing with them. They hooked us up on our direct flight down to Vegas in February, and it was a hell of a time. So take it from us. Fly YEG will get you where you need to go in a timely fashion. But we have a keyword right now. Zach's going to put it on the screen. Jay is going to read it for us out loud. And you text it in 780-218-9999. Zach will put it through the randomizer, and we'll give one lucky texter a call. But Jay, without any further ado, that word today is...
White cloud. White cloud. That is one word.
White cloud.
WHITECLOUD.
He's got a great first name too.
Oh, Zach.
Charlie.
Yeah.
That is in Charlie White Cloud, right?
Charlie White. Yeah, it's Chris. Yeah. White Cloud. 780-218-9999. And we thank Matthew Iwanek again for coming up with these words. He also texted in saying to us, apparently part of the bill for funding of a new arena needs to be Utah. Maddie's got it, and Maddie's, I will go with that. People in the nasty, the text, rumors have it. If Maddie's got it, it's for sure.
It's locked.
It's locked in. White cloud is the word for the Nielsen Show today. Text it in, 780-218-9999. Maddie Iwanek will have your next keyword for this potential trip for you to qualify coming up in the EST Hangout, 9 to 11 this morning. Also have another word in the lock shop, and 2 guys as well later on this afternoon. So Zach will get the texts in. We'll get a qualifier, and I do believe, a couple minutes to spare here prior to Tim Hauraney. He'll be joining us, racing analyst, both Formula One, IndyCar, and elsewhere. You can check out his work on Twitter at Tim Hauraney, but we'll get his thoughts, albeit briefly, on the upcoming Grand Prix as the Formula One circuit shifts to China for the Chinese Grand Prix, Shanghai International Circuit, coming off the Japanese GP as well. So we'll get his thoughts on that heading into a Grand Prix weekend, a sprint weekend as well. for Formula One and the Chinese Grand Prix. And then we'll have your Orange and Blue breakfast as well. Oilers in Avalanche, or visiting the Avalanche tonight, rounding out that regular season schedule. So text in White Cloud right now, 780-218-9999. Zach will pick a lucky texter, and we'll get a caller on the line after Tim Hauraney if we can, Zach. That's doable. Hey, we'll get Tim on. You can make a call, bring him on afterwards. But 780-218-99 is the number for that. Or get in the nasty chat as well. And if you are throwing some heat in the nasty chat, put it on a text, send it into the Paris Jewelers inbox, and you could be $20 richer in A&W credits later today.
This is awesome. The names keep pouring in. Rob Crosby, that's a pretty good one. Utah Isotopes. Right?
Don't mind that at all.
Don't mind that. Utah Titans.
Have a Simpsons night.
Sam Crow. Yeah, there's some real good ones here.
Matthew Marot on the nasty chat. Utah Wolf to become another team with no S on the Colorado Avalanche. I don't... the Wolves are a team somewhere.
Timberwolves?
No,
Chicago
but in hockey.
Wolves.
That's the one
Chicago
I'm looking for.
Wolves.
Thank you very much, Zach.
AHL.
So you can't have Wolves. Utah Wolf would be okay. I'd have
no.
time for that. No, you're not picking that one up. Utah Titans can't have Titans again either. Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
They'd be mad down Nashville way. Yotes are in the Pacific. Yotes are in the Central, so nothing will change. What's the conversation there? Don't get that one. But, yeah, any more team names you want for, as has been confirmed from one Matthew Iwanek, Utah. So what's the Utah team name?
So, we just have a little bit of time here. Just a little bit. And I'm
Just
gonna,
a buffer.
I'm gonna
3 minutes.
I'm going to pick up that third question for you.
Let's go. Have it at me.
Questions too. It was brought in on the Nasty Chat earlier, and I think it's a good question. Just off the top of your head right now, who are your two final teams that are going to be in the Stanley Cup final? What's inside the brain of LTE? Just what comes to mind?
Oh, yeah, go. It's the Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay.
You have something to say, Zach?
Zach, are you joking?
Do you want to? Are you all right?
Is everything okay?
Should we perform CPR on you right now? Or is this
I was just clearing my throat.
Okay.
Sorry.
Carolina Hurricanes and I said something in my eye. Sorry, So out of the East, it's the Hurricanes, and they're going to meet in the Stanley Cup Finals.
And Tim Hauraney's on.
Dallas Stars.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Who's gonna be mad? That team is a train right now.
Prove me wrong, Edmonton Oilers. Right? I've
Absolutely.
laid down the challenge now. I ain't no homer.
Absolutely. You can't. Otherwise, you'd be the cursed pick. I mean,
It's the head, not the heart.
there you go.
You said head.
I had Dallas out of the West as well, and I had the Rangers.
I don't think it's anything too
I think that
sexy
would
or
be-
anything. Yeah, I mean,
that would
it'd
be amazing.
Yeah, it'd be a great final, but
I got Dallas and Florida. Dallas and
Panthers,
Florida
yeah,
in
yep.
the final. And then Dallas getting it all.
Dr. Gonzo in the nasty chat, Bruins Canucks. Jimmy Onishi, no faith LT. That's not even...
Don't be hard on him.
These gotcha questions. Again, head, heart. Two different things.
No, and you know what?
Heart, it's the Oilers.
Realistically,
Oilers playing the Oilers.
and
the Oilers win.
The Western Conference is a crapshoot. I mean, it really is. It kind of reversed roles from last year, where the Eastern Conference was the one that any team could have come out.
Yeah.
The Western Conference is truly a who's who and who can go to the Stanley Cup final. But it's funny, both of us, immediate top of head was the Dallas Stars.
Just first blush. I mean, again, the game that they played, Oilers and Stars to round out, and I think you go from what you've known just recently, and that's where I'm going to go there. The ability to run the four lines. I said their forward group is like a perfect Tetris game. Everything is pieced in that nice square. No, there's no rough edges that you got to smooth out or fill in a blank or a crack here. The goaltending, the defense. I mean, it's a well-rounded group, but playoffs, who's to say?
And I think much like the Oilers are somewhat due. They've been in this process a long time, let's not forget.
It's funny because, and that's why the Golden Knights too, I mean, they did their thing.
They did.
And I get it. Every team stacks up, runs at it again. You want to win every year. I get that, but subconsciously, you mentioned, the Golden Knights get theirs, and over the past few years, I think other teams, you get over that hump, you get yours. Well, when is it going to be? Eventually, it's going to have to be McDavid's time. Yeah. They've taken a number. Eventually, you're going to get your number called, because Dallas might do their thing. All these teams might be doing their thing, but it's going to have to be eventually the Oilers' time, sometime. You would think.
You know what? Nobody's even said on here Leafs Oilers.
Not yet. We might pose that question to our next guest here, Tim Hauraney, racing analyst, joining us now. You can check out his fine work, and a great guest, great friend of the show, of course. Had him back at the old place as well, but good thoughts as well. Anything racing, not just Formula One, but IndyCar insider as well, analyst, covering everything you need to know. You can follow him on Twitter at Tim Hauraney. Great job as well with nailing the apex. And Tim, got to start there. Your partner in crime there, Adam Wild. Next time you chat with him, could you just give us a hello from Edmonton? He was out here working down in Calgary radio, and he came up here to a few parties. And those Ontario guys, they don't really know how to party. I'll just say that. He was getting a little sleepy while the sun was still up on a few of those occasions. But if you could kindly say Adam a hello from Edmonton the next time you speak, that'd be great. But good to see you again, and thanks for your time, Tim. We'll get right into this one. Chinese Grand Prix, we're sprinting in Shanghai. What are some things to keep an eye on just from a neutral fan's point of view, and when can we look at things getting underway in terms of times?
I think one of the things with this race, guys, and good morning to everyone as well. I appreciate you having me on. And yes, as for Adam Wild, I mean, I haven't seen him get too wild just yet, but obviously great host of Nailing the Apex podcast. As for this weekend for the Chinese Grand Prix, I mean, I think we're going to have a very interesting race because we have a sprint race going on. And then we have the full Grand Prix. And then for the sprint, I mean, a big part of it is Formula One hasn't been back to China in about 5 years. So there's a lot that's changed. And that throws the teams for curveballs because there's not a lot of data for them to reference so they can get on top of things. The other part of that is you're only getting one practice session before you go straight into a sprint qualifying. So your car gets put into park for May conditions for the sprint qualifying, which means you can't touch the car, or you can't make any changes to it. And then once you're done your sprint qualifying, you can take the car into a different setup window for the Grand Prix qualifying, which happens later on a Saturday. Timings, I mean, guys, it's going to be it may not be too bad. It may not be too bad for you guys, but for me, I think on TSN the race goes at around 2:30, 3 in the morning. So it's always, the last time I think I covered the Chinese Grand Prix, so did it in 2019. I think my day didn't get done until 8 in the morning.
It's a few events on the schedule that give the PVR a good workout, a chance to flex that muscle. But Lieutenant Eric in this morning, Jason Milne also in for Dustin Nielson this morning.
Tim, you tweeted yesterday that Williams Racing suffered damage during the Japanese GP, but remarkably, the team was able to replenish their stock of parts. And I read that tweet and I thought to myself, remarkably, is this something that teams can be up against if you have a few, accidents in 2 races in a row? Are you running on depleted parts, given that the headquarters for Williams Racing is out of the UK? Is this something that teams are up against quite often?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, because there are certain teams that do end up pushing up against that threshold. I think for Williams in particular, they just don't have that infrastructure that, let's say, Mercedes has, where they can just pump parts out very fast because they have the best equipment in the world. They have the best software in the world, where with Williams Racing, there's a lot of older parts, older machinery, older software that is behind the scenes at that team. And that's something that James Valls, who's the team principal of Williams Racing, that he is trying to fix. He is trying to get new equipment into their factories to help kind of speed up this process. Now, the thing is that Williams has gone in a pretty different direction with their car concept coming into this season. The way they build a race car is much different. And that's kind of put them on the back foot of having new parts, having spare parts lying around. That's one of the issues that they are facing at the moment until they start getting an influx of components being ready for them to use. They've also had some really big crashes. Alex Albon had a big crash in Australia. He crashed the car so badly that essentially it damaged the chassis. So the tub or the safety cell where the driver sits in, once that gets damaged, you can't use it anymore. Basically goes in the garbage bin. For them, they sent it back to Grove. So they went from Australia. They took that chassis, sent it back to the UK, had it fixed for Japan, and then they had another big crash, Alex Albon again, in the race, damaged the chassis, sent it back to the UK, and had to get it repaired again to get it ready for China. Now, when you're doing that, so when you're taking a chassis and sending it back home and having it fixed, what's happening here, guys, is that you're clogging up the system that makes your components. So you can't make those spare parts. You can't make your new wings. You can't make your upgrades. There's just things you just can't do because you've got a backlog because of fixing chassis. So that's kind of where Williams Racing is at. And like I had said, remarkably, not only were they able to kind of fix all that, they were also able to pump out some spare parts and a bit more of an upgrade for this weekend. So yeah, I'm super impressed by what that team's been able to do to get cars ready, because you go back to Australia, after Alex had crashed the car, they removed Logan Sargent from his seat, put Alex Albon in his car, and Alex went out and did the race, and Logan had to sit on the sidelines and watch the Australian Grand Prix. So.
It's like a household with a bunch of teenagers, it kind of sounds like, hey, and going out and wrecking cars, and some guys getting opportunities and others not, and everything like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Kimi Antonelli, Tim, I wanted your thoughts on this. Tim Hauraney, our racing analyst, joining us today. We always like to have an eye to the future, and young racers getting a chance. I know Joaquin Gage always likes to know about the up-and-comers, but a little bit on Kimi Antonelli here before we let you go, Tim, and completing a couple of days of testing with Mercedes. What can you tell about him, and what's the future hold for him?
For Kimi, like his backstory, he's a junior driver. So at the moment, he's Mercedes' junior driver. He races in Formula 2. This is his first year in Formula 2. And basically the story behind him essentially is that he could be the next Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher, etc., etc. Now, the thing here is that Mercedes obviously has an open seat for 2025 because Lewis Hamilton is leaving to go to Ferrari. For Toto Wolff, he has to make a decision on who is going to be George Russell's teammate for 2025. Now, he's got a choice of Kimi Antonelli, who's their junior driver, or he's got a few other options, one of them being Carlos Sainz, who is being booted out of his seat so Lewis Hamilton can come in to Ferrari. Now, Carlos wants a longer-term deal for his future. He's used to all of these 1+1 deals, and he just doesn't want to do it. He wants something that's a lot more longer-term. Now, it's believed that Audi, so Sauber, because Audi will be coming in and taking over that team in 2026, they want him in their team for next year, which gives him, I should say, a longer-term deal, more money up front, and a lot more job security. For Carlos, like he had said earlier today in China during media day, he wants to be in a race-winning car at the same time. And so he has a lot of questions that he's going to have to answer. He's going to have to make a decision on where he wants to go. And Toto Wolff has to make a decision on, do I want to take Carlos Sainz on a 1+1? Will he do it? Or do I want to make sure I'm taking Kimi Antonelli, who we think is going to be a star, put him in our seat, and make sure that he's secure with our team, because, guys, they can lose him. Like, another team could possibly one day come in and take him away from Mercedes if they don't promote him soon enough. And so I think for Total Wolf, the team principal at Mercedes, that's kind of like where he's at. Like, do I take a risk on Carlos, bring him in, or do I risk, losing Kimi Antonelli? So there's a lot of decisions there that needs to be made. He's going to take some time. Total Wolf, that's why he put him in that car in Austria there this week to do a few days of testing in the W12. And then he's going to do some more testing in the W13. Total Wolf basically said, we're going to put him in a good car before we put him in a crap car. So,
well, I mean, Toto makes the big bucks, and he'll have to come up with these decisions. Martin chimes in on our text line, 780-218-9999. Budget issues are so bad that soon a Red Bull car will go missing. A poorly painted Williams will appear on the grid that will win a race, and perhaps that's the path to victory. But, Tim, we'll let you go here just quickly. Where do fans, where can they digest your work? Where can they find you, and what do you got coming up around the bend here?
Yeah, for sure. Everyone can listen to the podcast, Nailing the Apex, on the SDPN network. You can follow me at Tim Hauraney on social media. I'm also doing stuff for TSN, covering Formula One for TSN, so you can get some of my work on tsn.ca as well. We do stuff on SportsCenter at the same time. We're headed to Miami, boys. We're going to Miami to cover the Miami Grand Prix in a few weeks, so I am very excited about that.
PVRs be damned for that one, right? But we look forward to Shanghai and China again.
I thought you would be flying in. I thought you and Dusty would be coming down to Miami, crashing on the floor of my hotel
this new
room.
venture. That's the problem. It's kind of throwing a bit of a maybe. Look, I'll say this: slide into Matt Iwanek's DMs and maybe grease him up a bit, and we might be able to figure something out there. Tim, as always, man, we really appreciate your time. I know it's a busy week, so get back to work, and we'll chat soon. Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, thanks again, guys, for having me. Really appreciate it.
There you go. Tim Hauraney, racing analyst, very smart man, not just Formula One, IndyCar, and elsewhere, but you can check him out on Twitter at Tim Hauraney. Very in-depth knowledge about the sport, racing, Formula One, as I said, whatever racing. I don't know about too much if he's in the monster truck circuit, but maybe a question for next time that we get him on. But we thank Tim for his time leading up to Shanghai. The Vegas, we got a qualifier. We got...
Well, we did get a qualifier. I called a qualifier, but... They weren't able to come on the line because they're in a meeting.
Bob Loblaw and Lloyd? Yeah, Bob Loblaw working on his law blog. Huh? Right? Arrested Development, yeah. Bob Loblaw, well, congratulations. I do believe I met Bob Loblaw once. And, he texted in, woohoo, thanks, boys. Unfortunately, in a meeting and couldn't talk long. Thank you very much. But a good lesson learned here. He's in a meeting. He got the word in, and he picked up the call.
He almost didn't. That was the thing. It said... It has been forwarded to, and then he took it from there. Yeah. He picked it up right away. So he's just dangerous. Made it in. Bob, good thing you answered. Now you're qualified for the all-inclusive draw for the all-inclusive trip to Vegas.
Be like Bob Loblaw and Lloyd, and if you are in a meeting or you're doing something which you feel is maybe more important at the time, it's not. This is important, getting the word and picking up that call. So congratulations to Bob Loblaw. Once again, you can listen for the keyword 4 times per day. This is the first. The next one will be on the Hangout from 9 to 11 with Matthew Iwanek, and it's your chance to win a trip to Vegas, 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodation, and tickets for a Cirque du Soleil show presented by Fly YEG and the LVCVA. Nonstop flights to over 50 destinations. Your sports trip starts with a nonstop flight from Fly YEG. You can check them out, www.flyyeg.com. As mentioned, we had a taste of that on our trip to Vegas in February. Spectacular. It's not like your milk run that you went down to High Point, North Carolina.
No.
You saw 20 airports on the way there? It took you, a week?
Jeez,
to get down there.
It was terrible. It was, yeah.
Yeah, be like Bob Loblaw. Get the word in, get the text in, but be by your phone for the call, meeting, whatever. Pull over to the side of the road.
Meeting be damned.
Meeting be damned. Job be damned. If you have to, no, I don't do any of that. But,
job be damned, too.
You can get a job down in Vegas. With
get
that,
a job
right?
here. Zach got a job.
Zach got a job.
You get a job. You get a job.
Everybody gets it.
Hey, Penner's Pancakes did make a good point. We're kind of letting the big daddy down here.
Well,
with our like count.
As I said, so I'm not going out there with the can saying spare a like, please.
You're not saying anything.
I'm not saying
anything.
Speaking. Please,
because I am big.
And Zach to him as well.
And Zach, we're get them likes.
They're on the knees.
You know what does deserve a like though? 6 o'clock or lager being on sale for the playoffs. Come on.
Look at this.
$12.99.
Great point.
For
Starting
4
today.
cans
Great
at
point.
Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. Starting today.
Starting today.
That's-
Buck off that 4-pack.
I think that's $3.50 a can when I did the math earlier. $3.50 for a tall boy? You can't get any better than that.
Not bad.
Come
That's worthy of a like and a sub, I would say.
Oh, both.
Oof.
Minimum.
We're getting to 300 here. 342, we're getting to 300. Come on. Do it for Dusty and his family. He's on a family trip for crying out loud.
Do it for Dusty.
Do it for Dusty on the YouTube in the Nasty Chat. And once again, as well, if you want to, Jay, you seen anything for your text of the day as well? I mean, $20 Day in W is on the line. We've had some good ones, but I think as per his tradition, people like to swoop in at the final hour, the final minute, and try to lay down a take. But
I'm still swooning over one that came in real early in the show, so it's gonna be hard to beat. But send him in. We'll see what comes.
I'm also I can't forget as well. There were no hot takes this week, as we usually have Thursday hot takes during this time with Tim Hauraney. But we blasted out because I'm holding the mitt, and the two other competitors in the room haven't done hot takes. We will get them into hot takes. I think we should. We should grow this league like a wrestling stable. You know, you can't just have 3 jobbers go at it all the time. Well, you got to have a little bit of a mix. Maybe we open up. Maybe there's a tag team take sometime in the summer, right?
Somebody said earlier in the Nasty Chat that Glue Guy should come in like Roman Reigns and only have to defend it every 3 years or something like that.
There's something. I think there's something here, and totally now that we have the bodies to make it work.
Intercontinental mitt.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
You want to do a takeoff, you do it now, you slam it down, and you go, let's go, and you can do it wherever. You do it in the spa downstairs. But Scalding Hot Takes is, and was, and Tim Hauraney today is, brought to you by Claiborne Services. You can take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of each and every level. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind knowing that they are an industry leader in safety. You can check them out online, www.claiborneservices.com, or give Jeff a phone call, 780-910-6728. Tell him the EST sent you, and you can be on your way to a career today. So if you had to quit your job to pick up the call for the key word, and now you're looking for another one, Claiborne Services has you. It's all in
They got your back.
Neat little package. But it is now time for the Orange and Blue Breakfast, the final regular season Orange and Blue Breakfast of the campaign for the Oilers, brought to you by Mobile One and Blue Water Lubricants, the Blue Water Group. Founded in 1974, Canada's largest independent distributor of mobile-branded lubricants. They want to thank everyone for a great 50 years. Mobile One and Blue Water Lubricants. It is your Orange and Blue Breakfast. And again, 8:47 a.m. I'm sure some of these players may change in and out. We don't know yet, but the lineups as of right now, McDavid centering Hyman and Henrique, Draisaitl between RNH and Fogle, 20-goal scorer Warren Fogle, McLeod, third line, centering right now Dylan Holloway and Corey Perry, and Carrick between Brown and Janmark. Your defensive pairings as they are standing today, Darnell Nurse, Cody Ceci, Ekholm Bouchard, Kulak Desharnais. And then for goaltenders, again, Pickard starting last night. You'd expect to see Skinner tonight. And for the Colorado Avalanche, again, as of right now, Nathan McKinnon between Duran and Rantanen, Mittelstadt, Lehkonen, and Nichushkin, Colton, Wood, and Parise, and Trennan, Cogliano, and Duhaime on that fourth line. Defensive pairings of Taves, Makar, Walker, Manson, Johnson, Jones, and your goaltenders, of which you see Annunen and Alexander Georgiev. Your starting lineups for both the visiting Oilers and the host Colorado Avalanche tonight. Anything else you'd like to add in terms of a key to... I mean, look, we said it from the start. It was much of last night. Keep healthy. Keep it down the fairway, right? We don't want to roll the lines, get the timeout, get everybody kind of feeling their way. I mean,
you know what this game means
Key
tonight?
to a victory or key to getting out of there?
This game means absolutely nothing.
You're Bob Stauffer.
Yeah.
To quote Bob Stauffer.
Call me Staff. It means nothing. So the scoreboard's kind of what Edmonton Oilers fans will be watching tonight. For the game tonight, obviously you want to try and rest. But
you
players.
also want to, do you subscribe to that? Oh, it could be a potential playoff matchup, and you want to. I say, who can? If the Avs win tonight,
if both teams were going and saying, "Hey, the playoffs
but they're not.
They're not.
Who
So
cares? If the Avalanche beat it
point.
tonight, it's not. But
Once you see those lineups, you're not saying this is
No.
Hey boys, let's have a drop them and roll them out game here. It's not happening. So
I know psychology kind of breeds over from that? Like, depending on what happens. Like,
I don't know. I had that take, but I might have been swayed by our very own Matthew Iwanek.
Okay.
Who has shown proof, historical proof that shows that teams that are hot or teams that are not doesn't really necessarily trend to Stanley Cup success, right? Whereas the traditional take is your team's coming in rolling, they're coming in hot, you're going to succeed in the playoffs. The stats would say otherwise.
Okay.
And numbers would say otherwise. So, you know what? Hot or not, the playoffs are a totally different animal.
Hot or hot.
Hot or hot.
But you're right. And yeah, I don't think we're reading too much. If they win, it'll be great. We'll come tomorrow. It'll be Friday. We'll celebrate accordingly. And if they lose, we'll just move on and say, the playoffs are right around the corner. That's all you need.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
Yeah, two different ways. But again, we'll be doing a lot of out-of-town scoreboard watching tonight. The Winnipeg-Vancouver one, much of the same, right? Like you're testing, but it's not a test in the real form of a true test, but something there. But of course, Vegas at home to Anaheim tonight. The Kings hosting the Blackhawks. Zacticum had the mathematics. You had the scenarios. What are they again? Vegas. The Kings need to win. They need to win, and they need Vegas.
They need to win. They need the Golden Knights to lose. If it happens any other way, the Vegas Golden Knights will be the first-round matchup for the Edmonton Oilers.
There you go. And dates and times not just set yet, but we can tell you the playoffs will start Saturday, April 20th. Carolina hosting the Islanders. That's at 3 o'clock Mountain Time in the afternoon. Then at 6 o'clock, it'll be Boston hosting Toronto. Sunday, you get another pair right now as it stands. Florida hosting Tampa for Game 1, 10:30 Mountain Time. Then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it'll be the Rangers welcoming in the wild card Washington Capitals. So 4 series already set in terms of dates and time, and everything else will crystallize following tonight's action as well. But we'll be keeping an eye on the Vegas Kings games for you. We had a sports update that I missed because I'm running the show here and there's lots of stuff going on and I missed it. But we'll get a quick sports update and it'll actually go nice. Leading into the wrap, we'll wrap up the show. Then we'll hit it to the hangout with Matty Iwanek. So everything that happened last night in sports and a few things to look forward tonight. Jay Milne has them right now, courtesy of Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria.
The Oilers played what could be the final game in Phoenix, at least for the time being, as they fall 5-2 to the Coyotes. Sam Carrick and Warren Foegele filled the net for the hometown squad. But next up is some scoreboard watching tonight, as the Oilers will have their first round opponent revealed as the Ducks face off against the Golden Knights and the Blackhawks face the Kings. Both games will determine the Western Conference playoff picture. The GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame is live on location at Hudson's White Avenue with Tom Gazzola and the entire EST crew for a listener party. Come down, watch the Oilers take on the Avs, and get some of those world-famous chicken wings. If you can't make it down, not to worry, as the pregame starts right here at 6 p.m. on Edmonton Sports Talk. And don't forget that the Oil Stream pre- and post show presented by GCL Diesel will be live on location at Hudson's for the entire Oilers postseason run. So let's hope it's a long one. In the MLB last night, Aaron Judge hit a 2-run single in the ninth to snap a 4-4 tie as the Yankees went on to avoid their first season sweep of the season. Next up for Toronto is a visit to San Diego, where that series will start Friday night. In the NBA, Joel Embiid showed exactly why Philadelphia could definitely make a run in the postseason, as he chipped in 23 points and 15 rebounds as the 76ers secure the 7th seed and will face the Knicks in round 1 action. In other action, the Bulls clip the Hawks, which means they will face off against the Heat, with the winner securing the number 8 seed. In this story, we have alluded to it a few times. Raptors forward Jonte Porter has been banned from the NBA for violating the league's gaming rules, in part by placing games on NBA games he was involved in through an associate's account. Yikes, 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 not good. Game 4 of the AHL Championship went last night, and the Calgary Canucks are your 2024 Inter-Pipeline champions as they defeat Whitecourt 4-3 last night in Cowtown. This sports update was brought to you by Big Mama and Papa Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain, serving authentic Italian cuisine with their made-in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection. A pizza experience you've been waiting for. Visit them at 12848 97th Street. Order today, www.bmpp.ca, or call 587-746-0550.
It's the Ring Box. It's the Bling Box. It's the Paris Jewelers Inbox. And they got lots of fancy shiny things. Look at this, look at that. Not just for the ladies. They got jewelry for men too. The Ring Box, the Bling Box, the Paris Jewelers Inbox.
Ooh la la! The Paris Jewelers Inbox, the Ring Box, the Bling Box, 8:55 here. You're listening to Edmonton Sports Talk, the Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric in, Jason Milne as well. The final show of the week for him as he's filling in for Dustin Nielsen while on family vacation. And Gazdic keeping things between the rails here, behind the monitors as well. So a great morning. We're approaching, I guess, the loose goal of we're at 254 on the likes. I think we can do better, and we will do better, and we'll have to either look to tomorrow or next week. Kind of thinking that big like day might be Game 1 or coming in the morning after Game 1 of the Oilers playoffs, but we'll keep an eye on that as we move along. It is the wrap right now. Time for the wrap, brought to you by William Huff. If you want to play your place to look as good as ours, which is back there. They did all this. That's why I do that. You can visit the team at WilliamHuff.com. They've been in business since 1972, so you know they are incredible at what they do. And this is just a taste of what they've got going on down at William Huff. You can pick your banner up today, like this one. I think a larger one. Decals, stickers, the whole bit. Pom-poms as well. There you look at this. Just pulling out. Do you have a pom-pom in your pocket? Can we get a...
I'm shaking it.
But this is the good stuff. You want the good stuff, William Huff has you. So visit them today, or you can check them out online, WilliamHuff.com. Very, very simple, and you can get into the playoff spirit. What did we learn on the show today? We do have a text of the day Jay's going to get to. I learned about, it stole the show for me, High Point, North Carolina. I said, hey, I'm on a trip to the States. I said, where'd you go? A business pleasure? You go, no, I went to a place that's it's a furniture city, and every building there sells furniture. And I'm going to have to read up more on this, but High Point, North Carolina, next time you go down there, I'd love to...
You're coming with.
Seat. Yeah.
I'll stuff you in my bureau.
Yeah. But this place, and then again, I'm looking at the map. High Point, world's largest chest of drawers.
It is a thing.
I never knew there was, and now I know. So that's what I learned.
It is a
this
thing.
Morning. Text of the day, Jay.
I got to go back to the first hour of the show. We were talking about Hudson's, and one of the nasty chatters had chimed in and said, "Can I bring my baby to Hudson's?" And,
yes.
And we thought, yes, you can. And I had it confirmed by the man, the myth, the legend,
Matt,
Jason Borley.
Oh.
Of Hudson's. My man, Jason Borley, got back to me by text and he said, absolutely, children are available till 9. So we have confirmed that. I told you I would, and I did. But this text came in at 6:48 from Surveyor Brett.
Oh, boy.
And his chime was that that kind of sucks that Zacticum had to leave at 9 p.m. Doom.
Great timing, great delivery.
Great timing, great delivery, everything.
Well.
Surveyor Brett, you have won text of the day.
$20 stay in W, Brett. We'll be getting in contact. You know how it works. You can swing by and pick it up 9 to 1. Box Pounder chimes in the nasty hat. Jay will shake his pom-poms for likes. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe that. Yeah.
Okay, so Tuesday's show, I will bring in pom-poms,
okay,
and I will shake them like it's my job.
You will be back Tuesday with myself. Dusty will be back next week, midweek. Joaquin Gage in with me tomorrow. I think he'll be on the hangout today as well. So that's kind of the menu leading up here, and we'll eagerly await, again, the playoff date, Game 1 for the Oilers and whoever their opponent may be, which we'll find out later tonight. Tommy Gazzola in the house. I love it. 2 minutes early. We're really clicking along here. What are you watching tonight there, Jay? I think
I'm watching Zach drink some milk.
Yeah.
At Hudson's on White Ave.
Well, and Tommy Gazzola will have the GCL Diesel pregame show on the air here on YouTube as well. But you guys will be out, and the place tonight is Hudson's on White, correct?
Can't wait. Going to get some chicken tendies, watch Zach drink some milk, watch Tommy hand out some GCs.
And if you bring your kid, Zach will take a picture. Isn't that the agreement here?
Yeah,
Zach will take a picture.
I'll
with your
hold
kids.
the babies and
the
pose with the babies.
Yeah, kiss the baby.
Love it.
And Tommy, we still have some GCs to hand out tonight at Hudson's?
Lots, he says.
Okay, Tommy, the first beer's on Tommy. Right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, they're coming, baby.
That's how you dress up a meaningless game around these parts, eh?
Yep. Boom.
Boom.
You heard it from Tommy.
So go see Tommy tonight. Hudson's on White, the GCL Diesel pregame show and postgame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. So again, I just tonight's game, yeah, whatever. We talked about patience. Just a little more patience to go. And hey, tomorrow we're going to find out an opponent. We're going to find out an opening round opponent, right?
Yes.
Relax.
Chicago.
That's going to do it. We're going to pass it over here to the boys. Matt Iwanek, Joaquin Gage, Tom Gazzola, and Hernan Salas. Hernan Salas in the hangout.
What a
this morning
treat.
as well.
This is an all-star cast.
Hell of a hangout. And they'll have your next chance to qualify for the Vegas trip. The next word coming up in the hangout from 9 to 11. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for stepping in. Thank you for your time, waking up at this obscene hour and coming in here and dealing with myself. And I will see you next Tuesday. You said you'll be back.
Can't wait.
Looking
forward to it. Zacticum, you are the man.
For Zach Tim, holding it down, outstanding job today in YouTube Trev's stead. For Zach Tim, Jason Milne, Lieutenant Eric, we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Joaquin Gage will be in the chair. Stay tuned. Keep it locked on the YouTube. It'll carry over. The hangout coming up next here on Edmonton Sports Talk.